Okay, I want to introduce you to, and I have a couple of housekeeping items. Curly, can I just make your laugh a soundtrack? It's such a good laugh.
It's
it
like
feels
a little
fake because it's so good.
Oh my God.
I have housekeeping items before I introduce you to, but I want to introduce you to.
Yes,
guys, we have Curly, one of my dearest BuzzFeed friends. I love you so much. And you're also, can I say what you're doing now?
Anything. Oh,
and
yeah.
you're also consult producing on a hit Stars show, Vita.
Yes. I don't know if it's consult producing because that word producer is so it's different in that world. But I'm consulting. Yeah.
Okay, whatever.
Because for us,
in my eyes, you're consult producing, and I don't care what
you
your
have always been such a champion for me.
Kelsey says.
You've always been such a champion since day one.
Don't
so
make
I
me
love
cry
you so
already.
much.
We have
it's
like
true.
an hour.
Yes. Which is why I love you.
And the goal is to make you cry.
No, I'm going to. Oh, and I should also preface this with saying Curly and I recorded an episode with this exact title like a year and a half ago when I still had adult shit, but I couldn't publish it because it was the week the podcast ended. So technically BuzzFeed owned it. So Curly was nice enough to come back and you're basically redoing
No, but thank you for having me, truly.
I love you. I would never do this conversation without you. And to my right, you guys have never met him. Maybe you've seen him in my Instagram stories.
Yay.
My co-host from Dating No Filter on
Yay.
Zach Noe Towers.
Yay. Hello.
And also like recent, new, very close friend.
Yeah.
I
I mean, it's been a gift of the show. You know, it
Yeah.
like brought us together and we like have a true friendship.
You know
I
when
love
you
that.
just click with motherfuckers
Yes.
when you meet them?
And that's so good when you're working together because that's
Yeah.
what you want. That's what you want.
Exactly.
I mean, the chemistry that we have, we
baby, it's
met
undeniable.
like on the first day of shooting.
and we were just like, okay, now we're best friends.
Yeah, this weird kindred spirit.
We were like,
I
fuck
love that.
everyone else.
Yeah.
The world, we're going to take over the
What's
world
your
together.
sign again?
Leo.
Oh, Leo. Baby.
Leo, and then I forget my world got turned upside down because I always thought I was a Gemini rising, but I just found out I'm a Taurus.
Oh, that makes sense. Your work ethic. That makes a lot of sense.
Thank you.
Like the best work ethic over here.
Stop.
I imagine.
I don't. Everyone says that.
Look at this
Juice,
setup.
I know you can't.
Speaking
She
of our
denies.
setup, if you're not watching this on youtube.com/Kelsey Darragh, you can't see that we've moved the podcast studio into my own living room.
I love it.
I used to go down to a studio in Culver City, and honestly, darlings, if you're not from Los Angeles, you don't know that is just too far.
It's
for you
painful.
girls.
It's like
Drive
closer where
down
I
there.
live, so I love Culver.
Oh fuck! Well, I'm
love it.
sorry.
No, I love it.
You're
No. I'm
the
from
guinea pigs.
I love it. This is
Okay.
great. I'm like all over LA. That's why I'm all
You're
about
an
it.
OG LA bitch.
I'm
We'll
all
get into
about
that
it.
because I want to hear that story. But I do have a couple of housekeeping items that I need to just go over very quickly. First, I was just on Is This Adulting podcast with Chris and Steven. You guys should go check that out. They talk a lot about mental health. And if you're into that kind of podcast, go listen to mine. They also just did an interview with Ella from BuzzFeed, who you guys all know and love. Go check that out. So on Hannah Hart's podcast, on my podcast that Hannah Hart is guesting on,
This is a lot.
I had mentioned, I had called, I think, another country a third world country. And Mama did not know that is not PC anymore. You are not supposed to call places third world countries.
Oh,
We're in some sort of
no.
rank.
Yeah, Curly's
Countries.
like, you fucking idiot. You're supposed to call them developing countries. And so I looked up this NPR article that was written back in 2015. So I've been off the fucking boat for a while, dude. I really haven't known about this way of talking. But they say that by calling it a third world, it's basically putting it in third place, therefore making it sound like a poorer country and more impoverished. And some people are saying if you're not going to call it developed, call it colonizer or uncolonized country.
I like that one
that
either.
sounds worse for
Yeah.
some reason.
I feel like
Why? Some
developing
scientists said to call it that.
uncolonized.
Like colonizer.
That seems like it's waiting for us to make something of it.
Ew.
Doesn't it? Like
That's
a colonizer?
crazy.
Like
I'm just giving you options, guys.
Yes.
This isn't my take.
totally.
I feel like I wouldn't even
developing.
use those terms, to be honest. Like I wouldn't even be like, it's developed. Like we're all kind of developing in a way. Like even the U.S. right now,
Well,
like
that
in
was-
the state that we're in, like,
that
we're all
was-
developing. Like
That was absolutely the scientist's
Yeah.
point, is that she was like, you can't call it developing either because even the quote unquote developed countries are problematic and systemically
just
fucked.
call it the name of the country.
Okay,
And
said
then
Curly.
leave
You heard
it
it here
at that.
first. The The second thing I wanted to bring up was to send us an email if you have a subject you want to talk about or if you have a question. I apparently haven't. Sorry, I just had bubbly water.
Wow.
I haven't been plugging it enough. Thank you. It's Confidentlyinsecurepodcast at gmail.com.
You're doing so well.
Guys, new studio, new setup, new me.
Love it.
And I'm supposed to put a call out to our Instagram, which is at ConfidentlyPod. We are so close to 10,000 followers. And when we hit 10,000, we get to use swipe up links.
Wow.
We get swipe up.
Yes.
I thought you were going to say something like, we're going to show a nipple. And you're like, no.
Honestly,
I'm sure that's happened already.
I'm really close to 500,000 on Instagram. And my boyfriend was like, just do something that'll like put you over the edge. And so I'm thinking about putting my nipples on my Instagram.
That'd be kind of cool.
But you can't. It'd be like a momentary thing.
Yeah, but then...
Okay.
Hit
Okay.
500,000.
And then you can be like, free the nipple.
There you go.
Happy
Yeah.
1 milli.
Yes.
Here's to 1 million motherfuckers looking at my nipple.
Well, I'm only at 500,000.
No,
but-
when you get to the milli. Is it for the
Oh,
milli?
so you think I should wait until I hit
Oh, what were you saying when you get the half milli?
milli?
I mean, look,
One
you're like, help
nipple.
me get to the milli and I'll show you. Maybe
My
show
nipple?
one and then show the other one.
My-
Complete it
My
at a
nipples
milli.
aren't that exciting, unfortunately. Okay, now let's get to the real part of the podcast. I'm sure some of my viewers are shooketh by the title of this episode. So I wanted to just take a moment and say, yes, this episode is about sobriety and myself getting my journey to being sober.
Wow.
And I wanted to bring two of my loveliest people that I knew together to also talk about it. So I kind of want to, let's start with Curly because I feel like I know a little bit more about your story. But can you talk about how old you are, how long you've been sober, where are you from?
The age
I know. I was like,
part.
what does that have to do
I'm
with
like,
anything?
let's talk about-
I'll get to it. I'll get to why I think the age matters. Okay,
Sure.
fuck it.
Oh, no,
I'll
no,
just
no,
say
no.
now. I think age matters because a lot of my listeners are between the ages of like 15 and 30. And I feel like 5 years ago, if I saw the title like "Getting Sober?" I'd be like,
absolutely.
"Fuck you! I'm having fun."
Like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't even click
Yeah.
on it. Maybe.
And I wouldn't even click on it.
Yeah,
and I
probably.
kind of think that we'll get into the age conversation. But Curly, I want to hear where you're from, like what was your upbringing like, and when did your relationship with alcohol begin?
I'm from Hollywood, born and raised, like
Crazy.
on Melrose and Vine.
That is crazy.
That's wild.
That's
Melrose
a
and
niche
Vine.
Yeah.
comment,
It's like
but
I don't even know what's there. It's like a.
It's a Pavilions. There used to be a Popeyes back in the day.
Oh my
and there's a
god! I know
giant
exactly.
church.
There's a Panda Express in that Pavilions.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
So that's where I'm from.
Not that I've been, but no.
Not that I've had anything from there, but I just hear.
yeah, that's what I hear through the grapevine.
Yeah, I'm queer, Central American, Salvadorian. I think the first time I ever had alcohol was, of course, like a lot of Latin families. Like your uncle is like, here, try,
Really?
try this, and you have a little bit swig of a beer, and you're like, meh.
Was it beer? Do you remember?
It was definitely beer, and I was like, ugh, that's awful, and I never did it again. The time that I did really do it was on my way to the senior prom. I was a junior. And I went with like the it kind of kids.
Ooh, were you a part of the it?
I was like not a part of their crew because they were like these like I don't know. It was like a movie. Like they were like super rich, super fabulous, super beautiful, and I was just like their like gay friend. They had two beautiful resident gays in the group already, but like beautiful.
Did you hook up with both of them?
No, they were too
So you were
beautiful.
third
Did you
tier
ever watch
gay?
Sailor Moon?
Yeah.
Did you guys ever watch- Okay, so they were like two Sailor Moon characters, and they were just
shiny.
To me, just so beautiful.
Are
And
they
then-
still shiny and beautiful?
Yes.
Okay.
And I was just
Good
like a
for
little
them.
potato, like just like
Aw.
No.
potatoes. Oh my god.
We
But-
know who we are. Zach.
But I
Don't
would
try and call
yes.
me that.
I was a potato in a faux fur coat. Like
Yeah,
I was
it's
doing
okay.
it big.
It's okay. And you still wear
But you were like
faux
openly queer then.
Yes, I came out when I was 11 to 12. That was the
Wow.
time. I told the first
Oh my
person when I was 11,
God.
and then when I was 12, I was like, I'm gay.
Wow.
You know?
Wow. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I got drunk on, and it ended up being like crazy foreshadowing of what became the rest of my drunken life. Oh, maybe I can't tell that story.
Why?
Oh no.
Something happened between me and the individual driving the car. And
Someone drove drunk?
You blew that person?
No, I touched.
They're straight.
Like I gave him like a little bit of like a handy J.
Okay.
Why is
and he
that
crashed the car.
bad? Did you crash a car? Did you
because
murder someone?
I was very young.
And they were older.
Well,
Yeah.
no, we're talking junior and senior.
No,
You
I'm
were talking about
junior and then
teacher.
whoever was driving.
But
teacher,
this is to a
limo
dance?
driver.
Is this too crazy to put on here? Do you think?
No, are you kidding?
No.
I literally talked about sniffing coke out of someone's butt once.
Yeah, but this is me being like a young kid. Like
Well,
a young
I just like
kid.
in my
whatever you're
head, like
comfortable with.
you're also the aggressor in the situation. It sounds like he was driving and you were jerking him off. Like
Yeah.
he's honestly
not,
the victim
like,
here.
jerking
Like yeah,
your
like
hand
yeah, like
off.
Ugh, and it just well, whatever. It's fine.
Whatever.
Who cares? It is
Something
that's
happened.
what happened.
Okay.
And yeah, and I think that was it ended up being a thing that we did on the weekends. And the senior year, it was like we were always drunk. And then once I graduated, I had my first heartbreak, and then that's when it triggered everything. Like I just kind of fell into drinking in the day, drinking when I was bored, drinking when I was alone, engaging
that's
sexually
early.
with everybody.
oh my god.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's an early time to be starting the alone drinking. I feel like alone drinking doesn't happen until you're like, you have a job and you're coming home at night and you're like, oh, I just want a glass of wine. I don't care if I'm by myself.
Oh no! Well, the thing is too is like I was already like once we graduated high school, I hit the floor running. Like I was like,
Did you stay in LA?
I did stay in LA.
Do
yeah.
you think that had anything to do with at what age you started partying? Because I feel like people think people in LA are just like introduced to like cocaine and fucking meth and parties and celebrity and
I started to go to gay clubs when I was 12. That was the first
Oh
time.
my
Yeah.
god.
Curly
That
12.
is insane.
To be honest, like it was like an all ages gay club that was here on Santa Monica.
all
it was
ages
all
gay
ages,
club,
but
like a
when-
playground.
Tiger Heat?
It
No.
was so that same club, the Arena. It used to be
Yeah.
all ages.
Okay.
And then towards the maybe like 2000 and so that like what that would have been like 1989,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Around 2004 or so, they made it 18 and over, but they didn't check cards.
Right.
So I was a
You had
freshman,
access.
a sophomore, a junior, and I would go back.
12, that's fucking.
What was amazing was that it was a pub for queer POC people. So it was like predominantly
safe
black and
state.
Latino.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I didn't drink. I wanted to dance. That's all I wanted to do was
Oh.
just dance and be seen and
Sure.
hook up with homo
Yeah.
thugs named Shorty. You know what I mean? Like
Ooh.
just doing the thing. And then eventually I was like, I discovered drinking at clubs, and I think that's when it became like even bigger.
Now, were you going to college? Because you also had a lot, like a big bow in the fashion industry.
Yeah,
What, did you move to New York or was that in LA?
No, it was here. So I went to FITM for 2 years. I don't consider it college because literally, like, you can go in there, fart, and go home, and they're like, "A plus,
You did
you
great.
did so good." You know what I mean? But I did end up leaving, and I worked for David LaChapelle and Jeremy Scott because I was like
Yes, that's a
banging
big
on their
Very
name.
doors.
cool,
You
yeah.
know what I mean? Like I was like this young Latin kid, and I'm like, I don't care. Like, let me just sweep around here, and I'll do the thing. So that's how like I had my thing in fashion.
Were you partying hard then? Like, were you a
know what?
a functionable?
I was
Functionable.
I was still doing
Alcohol.
okay. I was still like the type of people who you can go out with and they're like, I just want 1 or 2 drinks and I'm fine. I was still that person. And then when I had my heartbreak and I thought like, life sucks. You know, I became the person that was like blackout drunk. Like and the thing with me is I was like an ox. Like I would never pass out. I would never throw up. I would never
Wow.
bite. I would just what we
You were
called
really
brown out.
good at being drunk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could always get home. Like that was never a question.
Oh,
Yeah.
we'll fucking
You know those people who
get
turn into like,
to
okay,
you.
sorry.
No, I don't mean to not say what you're saying
Yeah,
because
yeah,
please
no.
finish that sentence. But
no.
how much do you want to talk about the things you did?
Oh, I mean, no, I'm fine. I'm living hearing all this.
Okay, because I'll preface this with saying like I'm only 30 days into actually taking it seriously and being sober.
Yay.
Thanks. So I feel like I don't want to insert too much of my stuff, but I've also been talking a lot with you
Yeah.
about sobriety, and I feel like something I've said a bunch is the reason why I love hanging out with sober people is because it doesn't the most fucked up thing I've ever done in my life doesn't seem that fucked up. Because
Oh my God.
the people I'm
Yeah.
with are like,
we laugh.
Oh.
We laugh about it.
We
We're
laugh
like, that
about
is
it.
so funny.
Yeah.
like how fucked, like the most
Yeah.
fucked up shit you did. Like fucking, we
And people don't
have
bat
heard
an
some
eye. Yeah, like
Do
stories.
you think that that's queer culture in sobriety?
No.
Because
I mean,
when
not
I
from
go
my experience.
when I go to like straight meetings, when I would go, they weren't as fun as like the queer meetings. Like the queer meetings were always like crazy this and crazy
Sure.
that, and the audience would be cracking up.
Yeah,
So when he says meetings, he means a 12-step program,
Yes.
which there are all sorts of programs out there when you want to get sober
Yeah, or need assistance.
or need
sort of,
assistance
yeah.
getting with. So like we're also not here to we're here to just talk about our experiences.
Yes.
We can't speak for the program. I'm making air quotes. We can't speak for other people's experiences with
Our
it.
experience,
Like how you're coming at and how you're coming to it is from a personal experience. So whatever we say to, like if we say the program, like I didn't like this thing about it, that's one day, 1 hour of one place.
Yeah.
That's not all encompassing of what an experience in the program
Can I say one thing too?
Please,
I think
Carly.
I always tell people, like, much like spirituality and finding God and finding your higher purpose and being, you should find it in your own way, in your own like path. And I think that a lot of people might fight me on this, but I feel like your sobriety and your version of sobriety can always be that. It can be your own personal connection and your own version of it.
Because it's not so black and white. I think a thing
but don't get me wrong. Like, don't show up drunk and be like, I'm sober. And be like,
well, Zach,
you're
you're
not.
probably you have like hard lines, no?
Yeah. I mean, probably nothing. There's a thing like nothing that affects you from the neck up. And
Wait.
Nothing that affects you from the neck up.
So you can take poppers in your butt?
I mean, no, poppers absolutely affect your head.
Good point. So what do you mean Viagra?
Wait, where do you think poppers go?
In your butt.
They help you relax.
Wait, you don't put poppers in your
your asshole relaxes, but it's totally it cuts off oxygen to your brain.
Wait, it's a I thought it was
you huff it.
Wait, is it a duster?
It's I don't know.
It's supposed to be VCR cleaner.
Wait, it's a duster. This whole time
it's
poppers
a chemical,
have been dusters?
It's a chemical in a little
vial
container, and it gives off fumes, and you
maybe
huff
it's not
the
a duster.
fumes.
Never mind. Okay, I thought poppers
I did have a girlfriend
were...
that put poppers on her butthole though, and she was like, she was
Did
like,
it
girl,
burn?
I don't know. I never asked if it burned, but she was like, that shit does
She's
not
dead.
work. She's dead. R.I.P. friend.
Yeah.
So poppers, for those of you who don't know, I thought were a gay
They are,
fucking pill you put in your butt to loosen up your butt so you can have
Oh,
sex.
that'd be great.
And they pop in
Oh
your
my
butt, and that's what makes them
God.
loose.
Yeah.
We should just run around asking straight people what they think.
What do you think poppers are?
Hello,
Yeah. Do you wanna try some?
bisexual.
And how do you use it? I love it.
Okay, so you were saying you're
it's
hard
basically
Oh wait,
nothing
yes,
that
I'd like to acknowledge your bisexuality. Yes.
Thank you,
nothing
Carly.
that affects you from the neck up, and like with drugs, it's like you get them prescribed from a doctor and you take as prescribed.
So like you're saying if someone were to have knee surgery, right? I just had my
Yeah.
ACL done. If I had to, I'm doing air quotes, break my sobriety, that wouldn't count because a doctor gave me pain
but
pills.
that's not breaking your sobriety.
Because I'm like a doctor
A
prescribed
doctor
them to
prescribed
them.
it. Oh yeah, a doctor prescribed it.
So then, like we had this conversation last week where I had gone wine tasting with a group, and we had planned this months before I had decided to go sober. And I went wine tasting, and I sipped, swished, and actually, the hell was that?
A car actually just drove through Kelsey's living room.
You don't get that in Culver City. I swished it and then spit it into a bucket. And if you would have told me I could have done that years ago, I would have been like, what's even the fucking point? Why even go?
Yeah.
But I told you what was weird about it is that it gave me so much power knowing that I could go through 25 fucking wines and not swallow any of it. And I almost felt like I'm glad I did this, but you're saying that some people might think that that's not sober.
At my sobriety, I would never fuck with it like that. Because I assume that much swishing, that much whatever, I'm gonna ingest an amount of alcohol, and it might get me buzzed enough to fuck. And it comes down to honesty, because you're like, why am I drinking this? Why am I putting this in my mouth? If I'm never gonna drink wine again, why am I tasting that? You just really have to get honest with yourself and be like, why?
Yeah.
And for me, it would be like, I don't like, alcohol is not part of my solution, at least these days. And I think, so I'm not going to put it in my mouth. Like,
yeah, I'm the same way too. Like that
Really?
would count. That would be breaking it for me. Like alcohol does not touch me at
But
all.
you were
like,
just saying that like sobriety is what
yeah.
works for you. And so I kind of tackled the like little bit with that, because I was like, to me, I'm still sober. Like to me, I still have no desire to drink. I am not actively seeking, like it's a truth serum.
Well, and I talked to my sponsor about you and that situation, not you specifically, but that situation. And they were like, there are sober sommeliers.
Oh, right.
And like who don't, and they don't drink the wine, but they have to know about it, and they learn about it, and they swish and spit, and like they do not. That's their point though. Like they do that for work, and they don't
drink.
Swallow.
Yeah.
Which my mother never taught me to do. Just FYI.
Not to swallow.
Because the
Everybody
other
should swallow if you know what you're doing. Just kidding.
No, that's true. I feel like unless someone's kink is for you to like take it on your face,
Definitely
you should always swallow.
But know who you're swallowing, because that also is.
How did
I
we
learned-
get here?
I learned-
We took a sharp left turn.
I learned something crazy from Zach. I don't know if this is true or not, but you told me that STDs are in cum. They're in semen.
Yeah, well, you can get.
I thought it was
you
in
can
just
get
like
stuff from semen.
any
I didn't know
fluid.
either. My friend coined swallow gang, and we were like, swallow gang, we're in trouble. Like,
Oh
you can get
no!
stuff. Yeah.
So I thought it was just like skin to skin contact for most STDs.
Oh no, you can get it in your throat and all.
I mean,
that
it's like
stuff.
it's bacteria and
Yeah.
it like lives in like
Okay.
fluids.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. This
There-
is not that podcast.
You know how you're like,
but
oh,
thank
you can get it in your wound. You get it in your mouth is
Ew!
the wound.
You can. Oh my god.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
yes,
well, people
fluids
call
work.
a vagina an axe wound.
Oof.
Okay, sorry. Let me dial it way the fuck back
Yeah.
to Curly. You talking about your experience with when did you feel like? First of all, how long have you been sober?
I've been sober. I'll be 4 years in November.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
happy
What about
almost
you, my love? What?
birthday.
How?
Zach?
I've been so.
Did you just check your phone?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. I thought we
Wow.
were still on
How
Curly. I thought we were still on Curly.
I've never seen so much shade because he has not gotten to talk about himself yet. He fully
God, I
For
love it.
checking my
Just-
phone.
on a visual
I did
podcast.
it off the camera. For you guys made
Zach's
it
like,
real.
if I'm not talking about myself, why am I
listeners
here?
never had to know, and the viewers literally saw this.
No, because we look at you and we go, "What about
I'm
you?"
on my
And
phone.
you're like,
Well, Curly,
I've been-
being the nice,
I've been-
polite person he is, can't possibly
Oh
have the
my
attention
God.
on
Okay.
just him. He needs to include you.
To
in the
answer your
conversation.
question, which I heard,
Yes.
I've been sober since November 15th, November 27th,
Wait, are you guys
2015.
the same age?
Oh wow! Wait, so are you going to be 4 years?
yeah.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Wait,
you
how
too.
far are your birth? People call birthdays.
Mine is
27th.
Mine is November 14th.
Crazy.
Isn't that
I'm,
crazy?
I'm,
You guys-
I'm
oh,
Black
that's-
Friday, the day after Thanksgiving. Like Thanksgiving was my last day drinking, and then Black
okay,
Friday I was
you know
sober.
what? Fuck it. I'm not going to just stick to Curly. Let's transition a little
Oh,
bit to your
yeah.
side. What we've talked about this, but what was the last day you drank, and why was it that day?
So at this point in my life, I had been bargaining with my drinking and using.
Me too.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
because that's the thing. I've always been a binge drinker or a heavy user, like pushing the limits.
Okay,
but
fuck
like,
it. Tell your story. Where are you from? What was your upbringing? What's your relationship to
No, I
alcohol?
don't have
I'm
to
the
like.
worst host.
I was just gonna like. I was gonna make it
no,
succinct.
but I want to hear what your journey was because I think that
This might be
Well,
too
maybe
hours.
we can
It's
go.
a great
Maybe we can go,
conversation.
we can
Sorry,
go
guys.
back
No,
and
let's
we
do
can go
it.
back and forth
Okay,
too,
great.
and both
Let's go back
answer
and
the
forth.
same questions. From St. Louis, Missouri, kind of like a lower middle class family. Started very like fearful around being gay. I was a really femme little boy that was not cool then. Bullying was always like outside. So like drinking really felt like a backstage pass, like an all access pass. I could go wherever I want if I was drunk. Like
Wow.
that's the soothing feeling I got when
It
I
gave you
drank.
confidence?
Yep. And I
Yeah.
could hang out with everybody. I could go to the party. And like I don't know how much of that fear was real and how much was just inside my head, but drinking became my co-pilot.
Yeah.
and you didn't want to be
Yes.
like gay and sober. Like you felt like you already had something that was making you not cool.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it wasn't even, well, and I could keep my alcohol down. Like I could drink with the best of them. It was kind of like my mask trait. Like I could like
Ooh,
party with the
interesting.
boys, you know?
Yep,
Yeah, you're so
can
funny.
relate.
Wow, that's so true.
Yeah.
Really? Oh, you have no idea how insightful this motherfucker
I
is.
well, Libra, it's a beautiful spirit, and
Yeah, they're very
it's so
smart.
funny that you said that they were like your co-pilot because I always said that when I did my alcohol video, I
At
wrote
BuzzFeed.
at the end of it at the end of the BuzzFeed at the end of the video I wrote a letter, like a love letter to alcohol, and I was like,
Yeah.
you were my best friend for
Oh,
so long,
dude.
and you helped me get through some hard times, you know, like. You were with me at the parties when I was alone, and then
Yep.
it ended up being cut down because editing and
yeah.
stuff. But then I was like, and then something happened where you turned on me, and
Ooh,
I
it
stopped
see you,
working.
and
you.
it stopped working. And what was your medicine was then your poison, right? So it was like a whole thing where you're like, it just
They say it's fun, then fun with problems, and then just problems.
Whoa.
Because like you
that's so true.
and you start to like it's like when the first time you do Molly versus the 10th time. Like the first time you're like, what is this? This is insane. This is incredible. Oh my God. And then the 10th time you're like, it's not like the second time. It's stronger than the fourth time. You're like assessing it. Your brain's like getting used to it. It's like you're evolving to meet the drug. So like eventually it stops working like it used
And
to.
how long did that take you? Because it sounds like all of our relationships to alcohol started pretty young, preteen, teen years.
Yeah, I started heavy drinking when I was 15.
Oh wow, yeah, same.
Yeah.
I would say that was like
I think I started to.
Parapet with a straw in a parking lot.
Oh, what?
Parapet with
Oh,
the
my-
liquor.
Oh
rum.
my God.
Parapet with a fucking straw.
Is that
my
pineapple
God.
rum?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like
Ours
fruit
was Malibu.
punch.
Like Malibu was.
What was your like
Vodka, straight up vodka.
in
Oh.
high school?
We had
Always.
the shitty Burnett's flavored vodkas.
I've never even heard of that.
Oh my god, it was like watermelon, black cherry,
that's
all
like
these.
Smirnoff
That is
Ice
so
was like
funny.
our also
Kamchatka.
our thing.
I was always like, no sugar and nothing that was
You
like
were like
crazy.
hardcore.
Yeah,
Damn.
I used to buy like the little vodkas like this,
The
like,
the plain bottles.
yeah, and drink like not even the plain ones, like the big like.
Yeah,
Oh, like the
fifth?
little
And finish that by
A
itself.
fifth.
Yeah, on my way to the bar, on my way to the club.
Oh,
before.
car bar. Yeah, you like park, park, get hammered. I didn't go to bars sober. Like, no
Did
way.
you have a lot of both of the? This is a question for both of you. Did you guys have a lot of access to house like a safe place to drink when you were a teenager?
Yes.
Yeah,
You
for the
did?
most part.
I feel like there's always that one person's house, and listeners, you're probably like, oh, it's Krista.
Yeah,
or like,
Susie's
oh,
mom let
yeah.
us drink in the
See,
basement.
but we didn't have. It wasn't necessarily apparent. It was like we just knew what liquor stores would sell it to us.
Oh damn.
We knew. We always knew in LA like where to go. We were
Sure.
like, he sells it. Let's go.
I feel like in Florida, there was, because I grew where my neighborhood wasn't exactly like everyone's parents were home after work and like on the weekends, like everyone's parents were there. So we would drive around and find parking lots
Sure.
to drink it and like random apartment complex pools. And we would like break into the jacuzzis and like
Playgrounds.
a solid like
Yeah.
Friday night would be like you go to someone's house and sneak alcohol into your like cup and get ready with your girls. And like if the mom came in, you'd be like, we're not drinking. And then you would go to like the football game and
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
try and find a way to sneak in booze. You would never sneak in booze though into school because you would get so fucked. But you would show up drunk and it's like, who cares? They can't prove you're
Right.
fucked up when you're
Yeah.
like 15. Then after the football game, you would drive around waiting for the football players to shower and like go out
Where
and
the
then
party
you would
was, yeah.
go to wherever the party was, and it usually meant driving from different
Oh, sure.
apartment
Oh.
complexes while drinking. Like
Absolutely.
drinking and driving
Yeah.
was a fucking
thing,
sport.
Yeah.
Don't
Like
do it,
we,
y'all.
Yeah,
no,
no, it's
don't
insane.
fucking do it. It's the dumbest fucking thing.
Yeah.
But when you're that age, you're like, I'm fucking invincible. We have no other choice. We
Yeah.
didn't
Yeah.
have Uber
Yeah.
back
I'm not
then.
that drunk.
Yeah, like
that you
it's
could
not
do it.
Oh,
gonna happen
yeah.
to me. Like it sounded like all of us had very early experiences with like places to go and feeling invincible and safe. So like
Sure.
same question I asked earlier, like when did it feel like it became a different relationship? Like when did it stop being like fun problems? When did it start to be
mean, just
like problem?
To throw myself under the bus, I
Yes, drag her.
turned 30 and I kind of had this reflective moment. I woke up hungover on my 30th birthday and I thought about everything I set out to do when I was a little kid and I hadn't achieved any of it really. So I was really bummed. And this is amidst the bargaining where I was like, don't drink tonight or don't drink for 30 days or don't pay for drugs. All these like things that I said to myself.
That's such a truth. If
And
you
I-
don't pay for the drugs, then
it
it's not
doesn't
really-
count. Yeah.
Or like alcohol. If like a guy buys it for you, it's like
not
I'm
a loss.
winning. I got a
Yeah,
point.
Exactly. So I basically just like I was like, oh, the words were this isn't cute anymore, and I just knew drugs and alcohol were a hurdle that I kept putting in front of me.
I think people talk a lot about too, like a rock bottom, and I feel like in my experience, people that I've talked to have what they thought was a rock bottom, and then the real rock bottom came when they like tried to get sober, or
Sure.
like how easy was quitting drinking for you?
Actually, when I put it down, I'm a stubborn person. It was not an issue picking it back up. A couple times in traumatic experiences, I came close to thinking I needed to calm down, but I didn't. So it was more like my thinking
Yeah.
was the problem after I put down the substance.
What about you, Curly?
I don't really get urges. It was like kind of really easy to do it. And I take that back. It was never easy. It was hard. It
Right.
just like you have to stay busy is what I always say. Like you're like, oh, I really want to have that drink, but like I'm gonna go learn how to do this,
Yeah.
or I'm gonna go sew and make something. Like
So many other things to do.
I want to talk again, both for both of you guys. What was the last night you drank, and why was that the last night you drank?
You can go.
Mine was
I feel like I remember.
No, it was I went to oh my god, what is it? Los Globos in Echo
Yeah.
Park.
Oh yeah.
And somebody was like, "Do you want to take a Molly?" And I remember thinking like, "No, not today. I'm bargaining with myself." And I remember thinking like, "See, I don't have a problem. I just said no to Molly."
Yeah.
And then I went home and I went to my parents' house and I was like hanging out. Like
Were you drinking?
I was fucked up by the time I got.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. In case I wasn't clear, I
You
was
turned down the
fucked-
Molly, but
yeah, but you were
because you were
wasted,
blacked
yeah.
out.
because I was
Got it.
fucked up.
Or
And
browned out. I'm a browner outer
I'm
too.
a brown out, yeah. And I was like in front of their like house, and I kind of was like really turned on, and I was like, I should just like totally just jack off in front of the house. And I was like
In front of your parents' house.
and I remember thinking like,
This is crazy.
even when I was drunk, I was like, oh my god, like I should like this is. It was nighttime, right? Like we're getting all company.
No, come
it was
closer
like
because I
at
don't want you
night.
to get out of frame.
It was at night, and I didn't do it. And then I woke up the next day, and I was like, "You thought that was a good idea,
right.
That was your.
You thought this was a good I'm not. Well, my I call it like a rock plateau, because basically what happened with me was that like different things. So my thing is that if you're drinking or your habit starts to bleed into other parts of your life, where your relationships are getting destroyed, your
work.
jobs, like your what's the word, like your reputation, things like that, like are being affected, then it's becoming a problem.
Sure.
So did you feel like you used the word plateau, which is funny? Because
It was just like a lot of things.
It was like many times. It wasn't
Yes.
like one overarching experience that did it. It was just like a long running bit of shit.
And then I had the thing where I was like, you're 27 years old. This is not cute
No,
anymore.
yeah.
That's literally what I told myself. And I was on the verge of getting bigger at BuzzFeed, like kind of becoming this.
Curly's story is crazy. He was the receptionist.
But I always said I started in the kitchen because I was always serving the lunches and
He served
stocking.
lunches too.
Because there were no phones. And so I would spend all my time
I'm
in the
gonna
kitchen.
drag you a little bit. Like Curly would come in and be like in the same clothes as the night before and be like reeking of tequila and be like, oh my God, girl, I'm so fucking hungover.
Yeah.
But like always got his job done. Like
Yeah.
no matter how fucked up you went out.
I hooked
the
up with
night
3
before.
guys last night. Da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah,
I hooked up with my all these different things. And then it was on the verge of me.
You were a producer at this point.
So I had been moved out of the kitchen, right? I always say I started in the kitchen because literally I did no front desk duties.
No, you
I
did
literally
all
was like
lunch.
stocking
Yeah,
the lunch and stocking the snacks and the sodas.
The glow up, honey.
Yes, and then
I shouldn't even say glow up. This was your path. This was always meant to be. It was
Thank
just
you.
like you just reached your street finally. You got to your bus
I was
stop.
fucking fabulous and fucking fun in the kitchen too.
Yeah.
So I go. So I am the only person I think in BuzzFeed history to go from stocking soda to like making
100%.
videos. And when I had made it to the other side, there was a possibility that I wouldn't be working there because of the drinking. And so I was like,
These people like caught on to it, or they saw you drunk,
just
or
a lot of different things. You know what I
Sure.
mean? And I became like a liability.
I didn't
Wow.
know that.
Yeah. And so it was a thing where for me, I forgot Juliet Davis. What's her name?
Juliette Lewis?
Juliet Lewis, yes. So
I
Juliet
would
Lewis,
guess.
yes.
that is a person.
So Juliet Lewis, she said that when she went sober, it was because the dream was too mighty, and so that's how I feel. Like my dream to get to this point, this place in my life, just became too mighty, and I couldn't risk losing it just because I couldn't put
you
the
like to
fucking
party.
drink down. Yeah. And so I kind of right now, like I deal with a lot of the guilt of who I was back then. That's the hardest part for me, because I'm like, people will be like, remember we did this or you did this, and I'm like, I don't know who that person is. Like,
well, that's so you
exactly.
don't do a program, right?
So I joined when I went sober. I joined the program.
Okay.
And I had a sponsor. I was kind of getting into it. And the thing that I realized was that my foundation is here. My parents are here. My sister's here. My nephews, my grandmother's here. All of my childhood best friends. And it became easier for me to go to their house and have dinner with them and talk to them about life, and then go home and go to sleep sober.
Sure.
Than it was for me to go to like a meeting.
How long did you go to meetings before you stopped?
Maybe like 4 months. I know that so I go occasionally to deal with the guilt of it. Do you know what I mean?
So I was
Yeah.
gonna say, like, the program has worked for me, and it's a big part of it is clearing up
Yes.
all of your wreckage.
Okay, tell us your last night that you drank.
Oh, the last night.
Yes.
I have a really boring story. At this point, I was really reckless. So I always say I was a lucky rock bottom because my thing is I rode a motorcycle for 9 out of my 10 years living here. I used to ride my motorcycle blackout drunk.
Wow.
Like Laurel Canyon to go to the
Which
valley.
is like the hills.
Oh, it's like
of
windy.
LA.
Yeah.
Like you will die if you hit like a pebble the wrong
Yeah,
way.
and to get like dick in
So
the valley,
butch.
and it's
Yeah,
like
dick in the valley.
valley dick's not worth it.
Dick in
you
your-
know.
But like you did it so
Valley
many
dick's
times.
But
not
I
worth
didn't.
it.
So like, but I always think like one false move, and I could have had the gnarliest rock bottom.
Yeah.
But I didn't. But my last day drinking was Wednesday before Thanksgiving's a huge bar night. Like I feel like
in every hometown.
yeah. So
yeah,
just
'cause everyone comes home and you're seeing everyone for the first time.
Yeah.
It's like a big fun.
But I
deal.
was in LA. I was going to a Friendsgiving the next day. We went out hard, went to the Friendsgiving, and it was like my fifth Thanksgiving in LA, I think, and I never like contributed to the Thanksgiving. I bring like
ice.
I bring like a thing of Hawaiian rolls, and like
Yeah.
lay on the couch till food was ready. So it was just doing that again, hungover, and I was like, don't drink today. Like you're hungover, help or something. And like I poured myself a glass of red wine, and I
Yeah.
was dumbfounded that I could not stop.
Stop. Well, had you ever, up until that point, and question for both of you, considered getting sober or had tried to go sober?
I mean, my bargaining was, I think that it was like, I'm not going to drink for the month of May. And then June 1st, my head was in a toilet. You know what I mean? Like,
God, I
sure.
hate
So real.
Yeah.
puking. I fucking
And
hate puking.
mind you,
That's the
May
worst.
would have been the best month of my life. I would
Yeah.
get the most work done. I'd feel healthy. I'd wake up early. Everything was great.
Yeah.
And still some part of me was like, no, like alcohol makes things better,
Fun.
easier, funner.
I've been saying this a lot to Zach. Like I had kind of a head exploding moment recently where it was like my whole identity revolves around drinking. Like that's another conversation about like how just my internet personality, my BuzzFeed videos, like everything from 15 years old. I mean, I was not the hot girl. I was the girl who's really good at beer pong. I couldn't be the most popular girl, but I would be the best fucking flip cup player. Like that was my way of getting in with people and like being social. And since those early days, so, over 10 years, I have considered drinking to be doing something. I'm at a birthday party, so we're drinking and playing games, so I'm doing something. Or I'm at the beach, so I'm drinking, so I'm doing something. I'm at I'm on a yacht, and I'm on like a 4-day vacation.
Yeah.
I'm not on yachts on a 4-day vacation. I'm
You're
saying,
gonna
like,
be,
Yeah, I'm
oh.
gonna be. That's another podcast.
Well, Fran Lebowitz says that about smoking. You
Oh.
could be standing outside. If you're having
Yeah?
a cigarette, you're doing something. You're
Right.
smoking.
And so I was always considering like, I'm not fucking doing anything. I'm sitting drinking. That's
Yeah.
not doing anything. Having a drunk conversation that you're never gonna fucking remember with a girl you met in the bathroom is not doing something.
Yeah.
Dancing around, like maybe dancing at a club, you're like having fun with your friends. Maybe you can consider that doing something.
But you can do
9
that
times-
without a drink.
You can do that without a drink.
I
You
do
can.
that. Like
I
I dance all the time.
Exactly. Like
Same.
I have considered too much of that to consume my fucking weekends, to my holidays, to my
Yeah.
vacations.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been to other countries and like pretty much not
Oh,
remembered it.
ruined
Like
the.
Yeah.
I mean,
wasted
a
time
trip.
and
Yeah.
money when I was like, if I were to remove that and replace all that time that I was drinking, I could be living a second fucking life.
You
Yeah.
could.
I
Or-
would
or
have
just
my-
a full life.
That's what I
Full
mean.
of-
Like
yeah.
I would have time back. And another thing is fucking hangovers.
Dude,
Hangovers
hangovers
is
were a
the-
huge part of my
know.
staying sober because getting to 30, they're not
And
fun.
I was never good at hangovers. I mean, when I was 15, I
Yeah.
would be the girl that would like the next day need the whole day, and
Yeah.
like, my friends would go buy me a
Think
burrito.
of all those
Damn.
days.
I never got hangovers.
Oh,
You
that was
bitch.
that was the problem.
You
though.
never got
Yeah.
hangovers.
I would wake over still slightly buzzed, and then I was
just
like,
ease into the
"I'm
day.
good." Yeah. You know
I
what I
have
mean?
those sometimes.
Towards the end of my drinking career, though,
Yeah.
which is when it started to get crazier at BuzzFeed, I would like sneak off to take a nap during work for hours because I was hungover.
I feel like
My
everyone has
God.
done that at some point in their life, right? Where they've been like so hungover that they've either missed something or canceled something.
Yeah.
Like hangover to
I
me
canceled.
always takes
Can I
priority.
I'm so sorry to interrupt, but can we look up that woman's name really fast? I want to credit her. Not Lewis. What was her name that we said?
Juliette Lewis.
So I'm like, Juliette Lewis is the singer. She's a white lady.
No, she's an
Right?
actress. Juliette Lewis
she's
is an
a white
actress.
lady.
She's the actress, but she also makes music.
I don't think so.
Juliette Lewis?
Look
You're
her up on
thinking-
your
Yeah, can we
phone.
look her up?
Hold on. Are you thinking of The Sound of Music woman?
No.
Okay.
Okay, wait.
Julie
look at Juliette
Andrews?
Lewis. No. Sorry, and I can't concentrate because I keep thinking about this, and
We need to.
So
solve
this is
it.
another beautiful part about going sober is recognizing how my brain works and understanding.
That's not
Okay,
who
so
you're
that's
thinking of.
that's not who I'm thinking of. But Juliette Lewis also does make music. Sidebar.
Who are
Does
you
she?
thinking of?
Yes. Okay, you guys keep talking. I'm gonna look it up. Sorry,
okay.
I just wanted to
Zach,
borrow your phone.
tell me the most fucked up thing you ever did on alcohol or drugs.
I mean, aside from riding a motorcycle blackout drunk through the hills of California.
For your Valley dick?
For Valley D.
I feel like there's too many things for me to remember.
I mean, I willingly got into the trunk of a known drug dealer.
Wait,
I
but
know
the
that's
trunk of a car.
the trunk, yeah.
what kind of a drug dealer? Like I
He
know.
was like a friendly one. It's just like it's like stuff I would never do now.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Like we're all on drugs. We're going to a
Dude.
location that I don't know about to get more drugs.
yeah.
Someone get in the trunk, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'll do it. Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
Honestly,
Those were the best nights. You know what I mean? Like
how many guardian angels do we three fucking have?
A
That
lot. I
mean-
we have not gotten DUIs. That we have
No.
not ended up in jail.
I found it too, by the way. We'll
Who
get
is
there.
it?
Jennifer Lewis. Sorry, I just wanted to
No,
honor her because she's such an
absolutely.
important woman and her words were so important to me.
The
So
dream
that's why
was
like I
dreamed.
had to honor her
Is she sober?
name and not get her name wrong. She is sober.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I tell these stories not to like be like, look what I got away with, but to be like, I should be dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
1,000 times over.
100%
Yeah.
should have killed someone by accident, should have overdosed by accident. Like, if I could go back, I mean, I'm terrified to have a kid because of the kind of kid that I was.
Yeah.
How do you guys
knowing what we know. And
yeah.
Stuff. Yeah.
Like, how do you guys think your level of like how fucked up you were like compares to the rest of people? Because I envy people that are like, oh, I just decided to get sober and never picked up another drink again.
Yeah.
Or like, you know, I wasn't that bad. I was like a functioning alcoholic. Like, we were all seemed to be really good at drinking.
I was
yeah.
bomb at drinking. I am very guilty. I mean, going back to the guilt, like who I was then and who I am now are like night and day.
Yeah.
Like completely different. And so it's
those moments of the day where you just like put your face in the palm of your hands. Like,
Like,
I
thinking
can't
back.
believe I did that.
Yeah.
But do you
But
feel like
what-
that wasn't who you were at your core? Like
That's
that wasn't
not who-
truly curly?
I think that what's interesting about what I love about humanity is that we have all of those things. Like Maya Angelou always to say that like you have every component in you to be all that is good, all that is powerful, but also all that is evil. Like no human, she says something like nothing human is alien to me. And so it's an interesting thing where that is very much a part of who I am. Being a hoe, being reckless.
Yeah.
Like, it's part of
Same.
who I am and I can't change it. But I can recognize that it can be reckless and that it can hurt people. And I can recognize it through my sobriety and I'm like aware of it, you know?
Yeah.
So, but it does get hard. So like comparing myself to other people, I can't do that because there are
No.
people who have done like really shitty, insane things and I would pale in comparison. But what it's done to my own spirit and my own journey, it's hard and it does hurt me, you know?
Yeah.
I wonder too, for listeners who maybe are at that age or at that part in their life where I remember times where people started telling me that close to me, not friends, not people that I was like not that tight with, but very close people to me started saying things like, you need to get your drinking under control, or like, you need to fucking chill, or like,
Yeah.
you know, I would go to parties and be the most fucked up person there, but no one would know it,
Yeah.
except for like the guy I would go
Yeah.
home with, and
Sure.
he
Like,
would, you know,
whoa.
Yeah.
yeah, like be like, you need to slow the fuck down. And that would infuriate me. The second someone questioned my
Yeah.
ability to drink, I
Yeah.
would fucking drink double
Yeah.
and take their drink too,
Yeah.
and
Are
be
you-
like, how dare you?
Yeah. Fuck you.
Like, I'm the best drinker right now. Like, do you guys have any advice for people who are maybe in that weird stage where they're starting to question their relationship to alcohol. Because I remember going to therapy. I mean, we had this conversation literally a year and a half ago where I was wondering if I should get sober. This is not like new news for me. Do you guys have any advice to someone who's like,
I think in general,
examining their relationship to sobriety?
If you are wondering if you have a drinking or drug problem, you have a drinking and drug problem. Period. Like, period. Not to scare you or whatever, but like people who don't think about it and they don't question it.
Damn, that's so fucking true.
Yeah. I will say something that was really unique about you is that your success hit really big because you also were a drinker. Do you know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
My biggest videos were like the drinking culture and how it's relatable and how it's like a thing and how like
it's your entire personality.
Yes, but you can be a professional. You can be a powerful individual woman, like and still have a fucking drink. Like, and it kind of was like at that time too. It was such a big thing all over that, like,
being
women had to do it all.
A train
wreck, exactly. You know.
Yeah, well, you know, you can hear this from Zach is that I still like. I don't think I've hit my rock bottom. I still am really good at drinking. I still have the most fun doing it. I'm still a fucking party and a good time, and I'm really safe about it.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm ready to admit that I'm powerless to it yet because I don't feel. I've had moments and like times where like if things would have gone a little bit to the left, then my life would be ruined. But I still feel like if I were to go back to drinking, that I would like have a different relationship with it and have it more under control. And that's something that's like I know you're like probably sitting over here just like this dumb bitch. She doesn't.
And it's everybody's
I'm putting words in your mouth.
Yeah.
I'm putting judgmental words in your mouth. This is obviously a projection of me. That's why Lena Dunham got in trouble with things, shit like that. So I don't want to say you called me a dumb bitch. But we've had conversations before where you're like, I don't know, what's your definition of powerless to drinking? You know, like. For someone who hasn't hit a rock bottom.
Yeah.
Like,
I always feel like for me, I feel like you have to really look at life and really, really love it. Like learn about yourself. Like take a step back and recognize when is it that you want to drink? When is it? Like, is it when you're at a bar?
It's the honesty thing. It's like, why and why?
Yes.
Do I feel less than these people?
Yes.
Do I feel like I'm lacking in some way? It's...
And what do you do with that information? Like, what if you're like,
so then when does it happen? Like,
I'm
note it
doing
as a
it because
pattern.
I don't feel.
Don't go. If you don't like being around those people because you feel like you need to have a drink with
Because
them,
the thing is,
don't go.
You shouldn't need to have a drink to enjoy the company of the people you're
What if
with.
you're like a young person in college and like you want to go to frat parties and you want to be socially accepted, but you're like not necessarily loving what you have to do to be socially accepted. Like, I feel like we're adults now. Like, we're able to be like, fuck this person. I'm going to cut this out of my life. I don't need this shit. Right. Whereas, like, when you're young, that shit's the biggest fucking deal is being liked and fitting in.
The only thing the drink is doing is altering your judgment.
Yeah.
You should be able to do that without the drink.
But it's like the veil that alcohol takes away gives like a boost in confidence or a boost in like.
Sure. I mean, my mind runs constantly and I often drank to slow it down, to quiet it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So so the voices, I'm not schizophrenic, but like, so the voices would stop, you know, and I'd be like,
numb it.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden you're slowed down. You're like, everything's fine. Why was I worrying? I'll work tomorrow. I'll write tomorrow. Like, you know, like it forced serenity.
Before I ask you guys about,
can I just say really fast though, because you were talking about what would you say to like a high schooler and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I didn't let you give an answer.
So for me, well, no, it's just a thing is like in high school, like I would say there's such a big world out there. Like start to work on what it is that you want to become. Like if you want to be a singer, focus on that. If you want to be, you can't have a good voice if you're out there drinking and smoking. You know what I mean? Some people do, but like you don't have to do
and
that.
those
Take care of your
fucking
chords.
people aren't going to help you become a singer.
You know what I mean? Exactly. Like, so I would say focus. You right now, if you're young, you have the opportunity, you have the internet, you have YouTube videos to kind of become the person that you want to become almost immediately. You know what I mean? So why not get into it? Like you're looking at your friends and they're drinking, like they might not be like you and that's their journey and that's where they have to go. But you could change the world. You could do so much. You can be a full, complete human being. That's not to say that you can't have a drink. That's not to say that you can't have fun. That's not to say that you can't dabble, smoke a little weed, do a little thing, live a little life. That's okay. But don't lose yourself in it.
Wouldn't say, it's not a solution. It's not a solution to your problems.
Yeah.
Like, Yeah, and I think those people, enjoy. If I could enjoy a glass of wine, that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
But if I'm on one glass of wine, I'm thinking about the second glass of wine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the shots of tequila, 2 lines of Coke, you know, and like
Yeah.
finding a dude then because
Yeah.
it's never enough. Like I
Right.
need more.
Yeah.
So tell me, both of you, and Zach, like, I swear to God, I message this motherfucker every day because he's just like infinite wisdom. But like, like seriously, it's I want to like screenshot and make it my background every day. But like, tell me what getting sober has done positively for your life.
I mean, you know.
I know, but tell the people.
I just my career has happened in the 3 years I've been sober. Everything. Because I always, when I wake up, I just try to do the next right thing that will move me towards the person I want to be. So if the alarm goes off, do you hit snooze or do you go get up? Do you squeeze in the gym or do you watch an episode on Netflix? Like I'm doing the next thing, the next indicated action that will lead me to my goals. And I try to do that as much as possible. And like, you know, like, I mean, it's just crazy. Like do I list my credits at this point?
No, I mean like,
But I will say, just to contrast, I went from being like a cater waiter, no shame, it's just not what I came here to do. Cater waiter, 3 people in a 2-bedroom, you know, someone like living in the living room, driving a beat up motorcycle everywhere to like gigs and auditions and stuff. And I'm on TV now.
and like a working comic,
And I have
like,
a movie deal.
He's so
And,
like
like,
fucking movie, and like.
and I don't mean, those are not meant to be braggy.
No,
it's just like,
Oh, that's
I wanted you to
amazing.
talk about like how you don't think like that wouldn't have happened if you were still
it
drinking.
wouldn't have. I just know for a fact.
And the thing that I love that you said, what like the biggest challenge has been about your sobriety was, and say this better than I do, but finding a way to give kindness to people who
Oh my
don't
God.
deserve it.
This is my daily struggle. Because my goal now is,
because it's not like you're sober and you don't have problems anymore.
oh my God, I told you I was like depressed for no reason today, just like playing out, oh, I don't have retirement. Like, why, bitch, you know, you're
Yes.
nowhere near retirement.
Yeah.
Like, but in my head, I'm like, I'm going to live under a bridge, you know, I'm going to kill
Oh my
myself.
God, yes,
Like,
that's a real thing.
my thing now is like, I'm trying to be kind and love everyone, even when they may not deserve it.
Ugh. Ugh.
I know now my goal is to open my heart as wide as possible and
And not
just
your butthole anymore.
and same
And not your
sometimes both. And then you
Sorry,
get a
I
poppers.
ruined a really
brand wrap.
That was really
beautiful
beautiful.
moment.
But yeah, open my heart as wide as now. I'm
Sorry.
picturing a gaping butthole.
I'm sorry.
I try to expand my heart as much as it will go. And just help people.
But that hits me at my fucking core, because I feel like in the world we live in today, it's so easy to be hateful and it's so easy to just find your people and like stay in your lane, and like you are the active motion of giving someone kindness, maybe a fucking person in line that's being a fucking twat, or like
The
someone
car that you don't wanna let
someone you
in.
can't stand, and inviting them to a show, or like
Yep.
that. The idea of radical kindness blows my. I think of it every day. Since you have said that to me, I think of it every day.
Well, I also have to assume that everyone is sick in some way. And
Well, we are, right?
everyone
yeah,
is
they
suffering.
are.
It's that whole everyone's fighting a battle you know
Yes,
nothing about. It's like, so like at the end of the day, I want to be the person that maybe
changes that.
Yeah,
and you
help
can't do that
their
when
day.
you're fucking hungover and selfish and thinking about
No.
yourself all the time.
But I also think that when you do get to sobriety, you can kind of come to those conclusions for yourself in your own way. Do you know what I mean? Like, because you're sober to recognize the patterns. And that's what's really important, is that you're like, who was I before? And this is who I need to become. Like
what do I need to do?
Yes, like being able to acknowledge that I would love to open my heart up to more people.
Yeah.
Like that is a big step that you'll
and
come
like,
to yourself.
how do you think not drinking relates to that? Like, can people be a good person and still drink? Like, why are we
Yes.
wired differently?
Absolutely.
I think that for me, like, it's just like when I recognize that I don't like going to bars and clubs, like, because I get really nervous and I like to connect. I like to have an anchor with me that I can converse with and kind of build a deeper connection. Like, I love when people are near me, they can feel my energy.
Yeah,
I can't do that at a bar.
absolutely.
No, and
so why am I
screaming
there?
into someone's ear.
Yeah.
And
So why am I there? Like, if I can't be at someone's party and because there's too many people, like, it's okay. Show up. You're there, and then go home.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
And it's just things like that that you just kind of realize it. Like, and don't get me wrong. Like, I know that when you travel or like when you're with your boyfriend and you're at these big clubs and these big things, like that does get a little harder too.
Totally.
But you can get to a place where you're like, you can excuse yourself and you can be like, I showed up. I'm here for you. I love you. I'll be at the room.
Yeah.
And I love, there's nothing I love more than turning down plans. Like
Exactly.
staying home and like not
everything
drinking
else
is
starts to like happen. Like
yeah.
you were asking, we were talking about what are some things that changed once you went sober. Let's talk about the fact that you have more money in your account.
Oh my
girl.
Do you know what I mean?
God.
Like
Girl.
down to the tiny things. Like for me,
Money, time,
there's this-
energy.
You also like
everything.
lost a fuck ton of weight.
No,
and
I
got,
gained a lot of weight.
Really?
I gained
What
a lot of
made
weight
you
In
lose all
his
the weight?
dick.
No. I had to lose it all again, but I gained a lot initially because they're
You
like
eat more.
whether it's the burger or the cupcake or the
the
booze,
dick or whatever.
or the dick,
yeah.
like
You
have
go-
the burger.
Yeah.
Do it,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Treat yourself.
So treat yourself. So I'm like 6 burgers deep. I'm like, oh well, at least it's not vodka. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Like,
basically.
Wait,
I
so
gained
what
a lot.
sparked that like health kick in you? Because I feel like people think you're gonna get
Completely
sober,
by
you're gonna
accident,
run,
completely
like, a 5K.
for a video. Melissa
Oh.
Alcantara did it for a video. She's Kim Kardashian's trainer.
Trainer.
We found her by accident at a party. We were like, we're looking to do a video with a femme Latina, and it just happened. And now I'm like, I don't want to go back.
Yeah.
Because there's this Beyonce song called "Running," ain't running from myself no more. And in it, she says, "If I lose myself, I lose it all." And I remember thinking, oh, that's the booze. If I lose myself to the booze, I'm gonna lose
It all,
everything.
yeah.
So the minute I
That's
stop,
a lot of pressure.
I'm a Virgo double Scorpio. I live in pressure. I'm a
You're a
make me fucking
diamond,
diamond.
yeah.
Exactly. So it's like a thing where it immediately started to change. Immediately.
When did it get easy?
It doesn't. It
You
doesn't get easier.
Still want to drink? Are you still
I
tempted?
don't tempted. I'm not tempted to have a drink. What happens with me? I tell like my boyfriend all the time. I'm like, he's like, is it okay if I have a drink? I'm like, yeah.
Excuse me. You have a fucking boyfriend?
Yeah. I don't like sit across from him if he's having a drink or somebody or a friend.
Bitch, you have a boyfriend?
Yeah.
Who the fuck is your boyfriend?
He's
and
this amazing
is
guy.
he not on your like Instagram or something?
I never post any of my boyfriends ever.
Oh, okay. So
I'm
we
very
can't
big-
expose
that's-
him right now.
No, I'll tell you later. Though.
Okay, but sorry,
Um,
listeners.
But no, but different people like they're like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "I'm fine. I'm not gonna turn into the Hulk and like reach over."
Sure,
and try.
like if I go out, I'm gonna go
Yeah.
out way harder than
Yes.
you guys are drinking right now.
Exactly. And the thing is like for me, the only time that it does affect me is if you're like, we're gonna go to a play, but before we're gonna meet at my house and have drinks, okay? And I'm like, oh, I miss the camaraderie of it. I miss being like
the pregame.
like the pregame. We're all gonna be together and have drinks, and then we're gonna go face the world together. That's the only time.
So Zach has a really lovely, and I'll let you tell it, but talk to me
Yes.
about how like if someone gives you shit for not drinking.
I mean, I love it almost when someone is baffled that I don't drink or
Yeah.
they have so many questions or whatever. It's like, oh, like they have a problem. You know what I mean? It's a nice red flag, like for me, and I just know like
It tells so much more
about them. It's
And,
all
like,
about. It's always about the other
Wow.
person.
And you
Yeah.
told me once, like 9 times out of 10, it's because they don't want to be drinking alone. Like, no,
Yeah.
have a drink. Why?
Wow.
You don't want to drink? Have
Yeah.
a drink. Let me buy you a drink. And it's like, you don't actually want me to drink. You
Yeah.
just don't want to
You
drink
just-
alone.
yeah.
You don't want
Yeah.
to be drunk alone.
When they don't want a mirror held up going like, oh, why did this person stop?
Yeah.
Because it's
Yeah.
on their mind too.
Wow, I love that.
Isn't he full of
I
just
love
like,
that. I usually just drop the bomb. I'm like, I'm in recovery, like AA.
Oh,
recovery.
God, you just
Don't-
really-
yes,
Make 'em
and then
feel bad?
Literally, it's like someone broke a dish in the background. Like it's like, and people are like,
That's
how
so.
dare you offer him a drink? And then it like turns the direction in that way.
Oh, that's
because I'm like,
fun.
it's true. Like I literally cannot. I'm sorry. I'm gonna keep it real with you. Like I'm an addict.
Yeah.
I'm dealing with my addiction. Please understand.
I'm
that.
not ready to admit that yet.
You know? Oh, I'm all
not.
about it.
I don't
Oh,
think
yeah.
I'm an
Well, it's
addict.
so funny. Like
I've never had a problem with drugs. I
I-
quit drugs whenever I wanted.
I didn't
quit
relate
smoking whenever I wanted.
forever, and now I'm such a proud addict. Like I'm proud to say I'm an
Yeah.
I'm not
alcoholic.
ready
Yeah.
yet.
Because I'm like, this is why I think like this, and this
Yes.
is why I
But
feel
It's like
this.
a sign.
See-
It's like your zodiac sign. It explains so many different things, and once you can
Once
acknowledge that
you
you're
know
an
it,
addict,
and you're just like,
I guess like when I think of addict, because I have addicts in my life, I immediately go like dirty.
Nope, all shapes and sizes.
Bad.
Dude, some of the richest people in the hills.
Or like corporate fucking stock market, Coke bro. Like I'm not either of those extremes.
Well, you're looking at two.
I know, exactly. Yeah.
But this is the thing too. You have like a lot of ego around the word addict.
do.
It
I'm
doesn't have to
egomaniac.
mean.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to mean this big horrible brown bag hobo thing that like you're seeing. It's like
I think you're gonna say homo thing. I was like, well, you caught me
no,
there.
yeah.
You got straight when you got sober.
But yeah, it's like it's semantics. It's like who cares? I don't care what you call me. I know what I know now, and I'm so at peace over it.
Yeah, you know what I hate when people tell me like, "You're not an addict." Don't say that. Like, don't take it away from me. Like, I know I am.
It's like now I'm gonna list my credits, and you're gonna feel real dumb. Yeah,
because that happens. Like, people will be like, "No, you were never that bad. Oh my god, you were never that." And I'm like, "No, but I was."
But like, that's what I mean when I say like we will be the most fucked up person in the room and no one will know because we're having fun.
The thing is that
we're,
it's always going to come down to
accomplishing
being
things.
real, keeping it real.
Honesty.
Real with yourself, real with the people around you. Like, keep it 100. And the thing is, like, when it comes to thinking about addiction, like, you could be addicted to fucking, like, buying sodas. Like, addiction changes. It looks different on different people.
I was going to say so it says, admitted we were powerless over alcohol. I've substituted alcohol for so many things: sugar, boys, food, exercise. Because I can
pillows, fucking rugs,
shopping. I can feel when my disease is pivoting to something else,
Same.
and
Now,
it's going.
do you believe it's
do
a
this, and you'll.
Yes.
Do this, and you will feel better.
I know
this, and you will feel calm.
Have a weird relationship with that the idea of calling alcoholism or addiction a disease. Like it's been proven that there is genetic like traits and variabilities, but I think and I'm not disagreeing with you, I also agree, but I'm not right or wrong. But I think people, and don't get mad at me, people use that word sometimes to blame, like to shift blame. Like, it's not me, it's my disease.
I can see how you would look at it like that. Like,
and
how
if it's
people
like,
can say that.
It's my disease that made me suck that Uber driver's dick. And like...
Well, but that person isn't being honest with themselves, I would say.
In what way? Like, if you're
I
like,
would
the disease made me do it.
I've never blamed alcoholism. Like, I know...
either.
You knew
that,
it was
like,
you at the core.
Yeah, I mean, I know it comes down to choice. Like, again, like,
So
I'm
can
making...
you choose the disease?
The disease for me is the fact that I can't stop. Like, even in knowing and seeing that, that's for me, right? Like, where I'm like, the disease came into play when I was like, even knowing, having all the information, all of the facts that I did this and I did that, I still went forward.
Isn't
and I
that
still
just like
craved
addiction?
But it's addiction and a disease.
Disease,
Do you know what I mean?
okay.
Like, I think when people think disease, like, you think about like something you can see on a body.
Or like can't get rid of without
I can't
help.
get rid of it. I literally
Yeah.
can't. Like, I'm like, I know it's there. I feel it. My drunken personality was named Bobby, and I feel Bobby chilling. I'm like,
Sure.
what's up, Bobby?
Or
Like,
something
what's
you'll
good?
say something that's kind of like Bobby, like, that was
yeah.
a Bobby thought, you know? But it's also disease of like perception. Like, so much of my problem is my perception. Like, I can take a smirk from someone and I can turn that into a million different novels.
So were you the one that told me that too, of like something about perception? I forget what it was that you had told me about, but like, oh, you can't take things personally ever.
Yeah, this is getting to a different thing, but have you guys read The 4 Agreements? Have you heard of that book?
I have. I haven't read it yet.
It's so good. It's like 4 agreements you make with yourself, and one of them is never take anything personally, good or bad.
I'm
Because
gonna buy
then,
this book right now on Amazon.
because
Oh,
then
it's
you're
so
letting
good.
someone else's literal point of view affect the way you view the world.
Yeah.
And like that can go for anything. Like I know like a lot of people in relationships who get like cheated on or something, it then becomes like it taints their view of love.
Yep.
And you can't let someone else's action fuck up your world view of this other instance
And the
for
other
the rest of eternity.
The other amazing ones is be impeccable with your word.
Ooh, fuck.
yeah.
Words are magic,
Words
and
are
you use
things.
them for good or evil.
Yes.
How many of us have been like, "Oh, I'm fat,"
Yeah.
or "Oh, I'm ugly"? Like, your body and brain hears that.
Here's that,
You
yeah.
associate and brand
Right.
yourself as fat or ugly. And you just start broadcasting that energy, whether or not
Yeah.
you know it or not.
I heard something really interesting about the word fat the other day, that like we as a society, like,
Oh, like it's not a bad
yeah,
word.
like fat
Yeah.
people say like I'm fat and I'm proud.
Like, call me fat. Yeah.
Right, like call me fat because that's what I am. It's when you say like you're
Overweight.
Well, or like
Oh.
like you're
Some
a
people don't
rude
like plus,
person.
or they don't. Oh, what do you mean? I'm sorry. What?
Like we've given the idea that fat also equals unhappy,
Mm-hmm.
rude,
Yeah.
dirty somehow.
Like
when
once
it's
you're thin, you'll feel better.
right.
You'll
when
feel
most
better.
thin people can be dicks. I'm just gonna leave
Every
that
side.
there.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to touch a little bit on. I don't want to use the word AA, but like that's the only program that I know to be mainstream, like Alcoholics Anonymous. Sometimes people feel a little intimidated by program or AA because they feel like there's these rules. Like
Yeah.
there's literally steps and
Yeah.
like there's like posters they hang on the wall that's
Yeah.
like you in order to be here. You kind of blew my mind because you were like, no, the only rule to going to AA is you have a desire to quit
Yeah.
drinking. You
Yeah.
don't even have to quit drinking.
No.
Yeah.
You just have to have a desire to quit.
Mm-hmm.
And people think that there's these rules. Like you can't be drunk, like you can't drink and also go to AA. You can't
Sure.
you can't what's another one? Like you have to believe in God
Yeah.
and admit your let go power to God. But like do people or can people do a program and like not believe in God?
Yeah, there's
or,
like a whole chapter about atheists in the program.
Yeah.
But I will say that when I went into the rooms, I was so turned off. I did not feel comfortable. I didn't like the word God. I didn't like people being in my business. I didn't like people asking
Everyone
for my
wants to
phone
give you your
number,
fucking phone number.
hugs. I'm
Yeah.
like, you're not genuine.
Yeah.
You're just doing this because you were told to. I had all these suspicions and paranoias, and I just kept going because I heard something from a speaker or someone sharing that I was like, okay, I do relate to that. Or
Yeah.
like, okay, I do want that.
Yeah.
And I just kept going. And then like now it's like I know that the program for me is a spiritual journey.
Yes.
I do have a God now. Like I have a higher power that can be anything you
Anything.
want.
Right.
It's not the
Yes.
Catholic Church. It's not whatever.
it's not a big man in the sky.
Yeah,
It's
it
just
could
something
be
bigger
a
than
Snickers
you.
bar.
It could be
Yeah.
humanity. It could be the thing that connects us all. It
Right.
could be the
Yeah,
atoms
mine's
that make
love
everything.
and like
yeah.
positive energy because I can make more of that any time I choose by complimenting someone or helping someone
It's
or whatever.
disgusting. He's like such a good person.
I know. It's
I'm
beautiful.
not.
You're
I'm not. No,
beautiful.
I'm
But it
trying.
makes
I'm
you
just, like,
that.
trying.
But that's what's cool is that like you're trying, right? Like, and we're trying. And I think that when you go sober, that's all it is. That you're just trying to be a better human. You're trying to
Yeah.
show up for
Right.
life. Like
And yourself.
all that you're created to be. You're just
That
trying to
you
show
hit the
up.
nail on the head, and I
Just
know I
show
said I
up.
wasn't going to talk too much about myself, but we're already like an
No,
hour.
this is
Change
good.
it.
I mean,
But,
you
like-
should be talking.
But like the showing up to life.
Yeah. But be present for it.
Imagine what you could get done, like if you chose to show up to like that fight or that hard conversation or that confrontation with a loved one or to yourself. Like imagine having the, and I'm gonna say bravery
Yeah.
because like
It's-
for me that's what it feels.
Yeah.
It's about removing fear.
It's about removing that fear, and to me, it has always been masked by alcohol. Has taken away that fear, and so like in a way, I have definitely felt like less than as a
Yeah.
person. Like maybe I'm not as strong as I've been
Yeah.
playing off to believe this whole time
Yeah.
because I've been hiding this like
Yeah.
very big feeling of fear
Yeah.
of like what's gonna happen if I quit drinking. Like, will people not think I'm as funny? Will they not think I'm
I
like?
think you're saying all these things. You have to really take a step back and really listen to yourself.
Mm.
Like you are telling yourself what to do. You know what to do already.
know.
That's the
bitch,
crazy
I
part.
know.
I have a friend exactly like her. I
Yeah.
got sober and then like we used to be party buddies all the time. We'd party
Yeah.
together. And she's like, I know I need to too. I'm just not ready yet. She says some of the exact same things
but
that come out of your mouth.
I
I'm
was like that
30
too.
days. I just am like
30
clearly
days is
still-
It's huge.
amazing.
Congratulations.
But like,
First
what
of
I
all.
mean
that's
is like
huge.
something feels different this time. Like I've done what we've talked about, where it's like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go 60 days to like prove
Yeah.
to myself that I can, or like, oh, it's a health thing, it's a New Year's thing, like whatever.
Yeah.
But something about this time feels so fucking different, and I truly think it's because I'm more removed from an
Yeah.
audience. Like I don't feel like I'm performing anymore.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh.
in like a healthy relationship. I have a really great job. I like have an outlet for my feelings with therapy. Like
Yeah.
I've never felt the most me as I have in these last 30
I
days.
That's
think
beautiful.
definitely like take
Right?
every day at
As
a
it
time.
is.
Do you know what I mean? Like, don't think about your whole life. Like, I can never do it again. I don't know what's gonna happen. Like, just focus on today.
Yeah.
And just for today, just say no one more time.
Right.
That's what I always say. If at least just one more time, say no.
Because when you
And
look
go
at
to
it in a
bed.
grand scale, if you look at it as like, I'm never drinking again, I would fucking grab a
Oh
bottle
my God.
right now and have a glass.
My friend Beth Ditto, who was the lead singer of The Gossip.
Oh
she
my
was telling me how, like,
God.
she's amazing.
Tell her I love her.
I will. She's
Yeah.
amazing. She was telling me that she has a friend who was like 40 years sober, and she asked him like, "How do you feel to like being sober for so long?" And he was like I need a drink, and it was
Yeah.
so funny because
Yeah.
to me I was like, that's so real.
Because you really can't think of it as long term. Like
You
I
can't,
love what you
like-
said. Like today, I'm sober,
Today I'm sober. Yeah.
and like I've been tempted, and like
Yes.
I've wanted to
And
drink.
I feel
but
like we're all really forgiving too. Like if something were to happen, you were to fall off, like just get back on.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
I
we're
love
all-
what you said
Yeah.
because you were like, Kelsey, I don't give a fuck.
I'm
like,
not in a mean way. I don't
no,
care
yeah,
if you
like,
drink or not.
If you drink, like great. Like I'm happy for you. I'm not like riding this wave with you. It really is like a singular journey. And I think that's another thing worth pointing out to the audience is like if you're gonna do it, you really have to do it for yourself.
Yeah.
Oh,
Not
it
because
won't
your
work.
fucking
Do you feel
boyfriend
like you
said
kind
so.
of? I'm sorry. Like, do you feel like you
No.
kind of can't afford to? Like, sometimes I'm like, I'm here if you want to listen. I'm down to go to. I go to meetings with people. If this
Yeah.
is your first meeting, I'll go with you. But a lot of times I'm like, look, I'm up to here in the water, and I'm just like swimming, and I can lift you up to get some air, but I can't hold you up.
there.
So I'm
Yeah.
like, yes, I can be a support and I can keep checking on you, but I can't do it every single day. You have to
No,
start
you
at some
have to,
point.
You
and that's
have
what I
to
mean.
want
Like
it.
your boyfriend can tell you all day long. Yeah, I'm not saying mine did. I'm just trying to relate to the audience. Jared doesn't think whatever. This is important. Your boyfriend can tell you all day long. You need to go. You have a drinking
Yeah.
problem. You have this.
But-
But like. Again, you have to do the work. You can't also
have
go
to
to
do
a
the work.
sober friend and be like, "Make me sober now." Like,
Yeah.
you can lead a horse to water, but
Yeah.
truly,
You can't make a drink, which is a really funny
Yeah.
metaphor for this situation.
we had a couple fan questions, but I can only remember one. And honestly, we've been
Okay.
going for an hour and 15 minutes, so I don't want to keep you guys here
Do
forever.
you want to
as
talk
much as
about
I
how
love you.
I'm not in the program, but I'm still doing it?
Yeah,
or is
well,
that
I
too-
was gonna give you the opportunity to also kind of talk about like what you mean now by like what sobriety is to you.
For me,
is
yeah,
it like
I
not
love
drinking?
the program, and I think everybody, if you're considering it, should definitely try to consider. And,
Well, I thought that's why I brought two differing opinions on.
and I love it, and I'm all about it, and I think that I'm like, I like to check in with it for me.
Sure.
Because I'm like, sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm not in that space. And sometimes I'm like, I need to be more forgiving of myself.
and Zach,
you know
for
what I mean?
you, you're like, if
I
I
go-
stop going to meetings, I start drinking.
It's the program is like my mental gym. Like I go to the gym. I try to go to the gym every day. I go to a meeting every day.
So you go to a meeting every single day?
Every single day.
Wow, I love that. It's beautiful.
Yeah,
Right?
and I have commitments at them, and I sponsor people.
Yeah.
And now my sobriety is about upkeep, but it's like about helping other people, like
I
helping
love
other
that.
people.
Yeah.
And that's what's keeps me sober.
yeah.
And I like, for me, like I'm like, if you get to know me, I'm like this like spiritual bruja, like,
Yes.
and I'll hear like my spirits talk to me all the time about
Sure.
certain things. And that's what you're talking about voices. I'm like, no, my spirits, I can feel them and I can hear them, and not in a schizo way, but in a way that is like a deeply spiritual
Yeah, like-
thing. So I feel really deeply connected to the earth here and deeply connected to my family here. And so for me, I don't want to taint that. I don't want to ruin that, because I can feel the spirits are like, we're here and we're with you and we're helping you on your journey. But don't fuck it up by having a drink, because then I can't. What I did here, I would start to hear other things. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
And I'm like, those are not the spirits that I want to. So for me, I'm super spiritual. I try to stay in a space of being calm and centered all the time.
which is impossible.
It is impossible,
To
right?
try and be calm
Not
centered
like
all the time.
all the time, but
Right.
it's like, I'm like, go back to that space.
That's the goal.
That's
It's
the
like
goal.
to
Go back to that
reconnect.
space.
Like, do you meditate?
I meditate.
Yeah,
I like
same.
talk to myself a lot. Not
Sure.
like
That's kind of
I check
praying.
in. It is. I pray all the time, but I
Yeah.
check in with myself. Like, I'll be really anxious about something.
Like,
and
whoa,
I'm like,
why?
and I'm like, what's wrong?
What? Yeah, exactly. You go to
What are we doing?
What's going on?
What's going on?
Instead, I would normally be like, I need a glass of wine.
Yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
To
so
wind
beautiful.
down.
So drinking and drugs used to be the tool that I picked up. Now I have calling sober friends,
Yeah.
talking to God,
Going
to a
meditating,
meeting.
Yeah.
taking a nap, eating
Yeah.
a snack, going to a meeting.
Yeah.
I have so
Checking
many
in with
other
yourself.
just going, why? Like, or am I just uncomfortable right now?
Yeah.
And be uncomfortable.
and then keep it real with yourself.
yeah, and nothing lasts forever.
So, Curls, when you say sobriety,
Yes.
what does that mean to you?
So for me, as we talked about before, and this is probably where a lot of other sober people would come from me, because they're like, then you're not fucking sober. But I started to recognize that I was dealing with depression and anxiety. And and the way that I came to this conclusion was that I found old journals of myself when I was a young kid. And all these things, all these thoughts of me being like, yeah, I guess I could die tomorrow. Like, it's fine if I die. Like, I was like, oh, this has been a thing since you were really young.
Right.
Wow.
And so I spoke to a lot of different people. I talked to my family. I talked to people that I really look up to. And I started to kind of do research on the effects of like magic shrooms. And I'm not saying that anybody should do this. Like, don't do this. Like, so what I do is I'll take like a tiny little
Microdose.
Yeah.
I'll put it in some tea. I'll have it with some tea. It never makes me feel elevated in any sort of way. It never makes me change. It evens me out. So whereas before I was like, oh man, it would be really cool if I died tomorrow. Now I'm like, I actually don't want to die. I actually like
what a
enjoy
novel
my life.
idea.
Yeah.
Zach,
You know
what
what
do
I
you
mean?
think as a sober person who
Well,
believes?
this is
no,
the-
I'm clearly putting you on blast. Like, talk about how it's.
Oh
different,
no, this
you know
but
what I
this is what I love too. It's like it doesn't matter what I think.
mean? Right.
It does not matter. Because he could walk into a meeting tonight, say that, and he would send 4 old men into cardiac arrest.
yes.
They'd comment on it. There's not supposed to be crosstalk. They'd talk about it.
Yeah.
They'd come up to you after and they'd be like, "You're not sober."
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Because
the
to
thing for
you,
me-
you know
The
what.
thing for me is like, I don't want to be on a pill, on a man-made pill. Like,
Sure.
I talked to my grandmother and she's like, we come from an indigenous culture in El Salvador. We used to live at the bottom of a volcano. We are connected to the earth. And so for me, I'm like, how do I medicate that? How do I take care of my spirit?
And
with
that's what
something
makes
from the
sense
earth?
to you.
That's what makes sense to
Yep.
me culturally, spiritually. I respect it. I pray on it. I pray like before I do it and after I do it, I think it. I have rules that I don't take it to go to parties.
I was gonna say,
I don't take
Do
it
you
to
ever
like,
fear that you're gonna like
No.
spiral off
of course,
shrooms?
because I'm an
into-
addict, right? And so I'm like,
It's a
but
slippery slope.
But that fear puts me on check. That fear of like going down is like, you know how you get, so then don't act in that way.
And you probably know what breaking your sobriety looks like.
Yes,
and that's
exactly.
not it.
And it's like,
But
am I
look-
drinking 2 cups of tea instead of 1?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But look at this. Like, I mean, the first time I ever got sick when I went sober, I had NyQuil. And I was super sick. And I hit up my sponsor. I was like, I tasted the alcohol immediately in the NyQuil. Am I okay? And he was like, you're sick. It's fine.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, 'cause, yeah.
But then I could feel myself being like,
Oh, maybe I'll have
can I
another
have
sip.
NyQuil the
A
next
loophole.
day? Do you know what I mean?
But that's like
But
the
that's
disease.
the
thing.
Yeah, you're
but
just like,
I don't like get mad at myself for taking NyQuil.
And
Right.
you
So
don't
why
get
am
mad
I
at
getting
yourself.
Why would
for
I get mad at
sipping
myself for having a
and
tea that
connecting.
literally came from the same ground that I came from?
Yeah,
and
and
the
a lot
same
of
ground
people
that I'll
say that
return
about
to.
marijuana too. And I think, like, as
well, doctors can
society-
recommend it now.
Doctors.
Exactly. As society shifts, we might also shift the conversation around what sobriety looks like
Yes.
to people. And I think right now, like in my life, to me, sobriety looks like no alcohol. I'm going to Burning Man next month. Will I maybe do Molly or shrooms? Maybe. Will I still consider myself sober? Absolutely. Because to me, sobriety and doing shrooms
Yes.
would, and if it led me to drinking, I'd be like, oh, okay, starting over.
I think
Sobriety
that-
now means no shrooms and no drinking.
But the
Oh,
thing is that
interesting.
like for me, you can't you can't make excuses, and that's the
Right.
thing too. That with this, it is a medicine. So like for example, would you be taking a medicine that is helping you at a party or like at a club or
Well,
at a
to
festival?
me, like Burning Man is like not a festival as much as like it's a reconnection with the earth and like a grounding and an experience. Like I'm not thinking like fucking Molly and go party in the desert. Like me and Jared are taking it very like spiritually driven, and we want to like
Yeah.
connect on like a different level.
See, the thing with me is like I wouldn't take it at a festival. Like I would be like, this is almost too holy for me to do it at a festival. And Molly to me just sounds like
I haven't decided if I'm gonna be
Yeah.
sober for it. There's AA meetings there, and like there's meetings you
Yeah.
can go to, and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, I'll obviously go hit that up because
Yeah.
I don't want to. I don't feel like I'm gonna even be. Most people don't drink there
yeah.
because you're in the desert and you're hot and you don't
You're
want to get
No,
fucking
a lot of
dehydrated.
people drink there.
But really,
I've
'Cause
never
people
been.
that are
I've never
Tons
been.
of alcohol.
to.
There's whatever you want there. It's 75,000 people. You can have it a religious, sober experience that you
Yeah.
pray and go to the temple and cry, or you can fucking butt chug Molly and
Yeah.
get fucked 6
Yeah.
ways from Sunday in a
Yeah.
big orgy tent. Like,
I'm definitely doing that.
I think that what you said too is that like the above the head, if it elevates you in a certain way, if it changes you, you're not considered sober, right? I think that for me, microdosing levels my brain out.
I would challenge you to do this. If you do shrooms or Molly, reset your time.
Why?
Because already I can tell that you have like ego around your time. And
Yeah,
that's
abso-fucking-lutely.
not what sobriety is about.
Yeah.
It's about making these
But
changes
then how
and being
come Curly
honest.
can microdose mushrooms?
No, because I'm not. So my thing is, it's this small,
Yeah.
right? And I'm taking it when I'm feeling like I want to die, and I'm taking it as a medicine to even me out.
But can't I consider like a spiritual journey in the
No, 'cause
desert?
you're doing this at a rave, like at a like a festival.
But it's not, right?
But it is.
It's
Okay,
supposed to be
the
like a
closest
fucking.
thing I can get to what you're talking about is I've had desire. I have not done it and will not do it, but ayahuasca, and that's like administered by like a
Shaman.
a shaman,
Yeah.
and like it's for this purpose of like reaching
Higher-
a different plane.
that's what I'm saying.
But like
But
that's not burning. I hate to break it to you, like that's not
But,
your
like-
your
It's not
own
burning.
religion.
But
Your
doing
own religious
shrooms-
experience. Molly is not part of any,
It's not. Yeah,
and like
it's not.
shrooms to the extent of, and I honestly don't know what I even think about his microdosing because like a doc, but that's my sobriety, and I
Yeah.
know it's sticky. It's a sticky
Yeah.
situation.
It's gonna be like for me, it goes down to like a cultural thing. It goes down for
and
me.
that's
to
not with
think that-
me.
Yes.
For me,
Wait,
it's
shrooms
like
aren't part of your Irish
my
heritage?
Irish heritage. No, but like for me, I am curious in like biohacking and neuroscience and like making myself the most self-actualized version
Yeah.
of myself, and especially like with mental illness, like you are hearing this stuff about microdosing,
Yes.
helping with
I
things like
actually
that.
would probably become an advocate for the magic mushroom.
I
think
am.
because it's like it's so healing and it's
Yeah.
changed my own mental like wavelengths like way better than any therapy has ever done.
Yeah.
Anything that like people have like spoken to me, any meeting has done for me, because I'm like, it's connected certain things for me. I literally, if it's between me being like, I am sober, I'm off of everything, or me not killing myself,
Yeah,
or
being
dying,
psychotically depressed. And
Why
that's-
wouldn't I
know
take
what
the- do you know what I
works
mean?
for you?
And
yeah,
that's what I mean is like, I think if I were to go and do it and do shrooms, it would be because I'm not trying to like party and have a good fucking time. Like that gives me so much anxiety. The idea of like doing Molly and jumping around at a concert. No fucking way. But the idea of like deepening my meaning to life's purpose through mushrooms to me sounds more like.
But you're like keeping it real with
Yeah,
you.
please
Like,
do.
If you were to be like, look, I'm gonna go out into the forest and I'm gonna be with my boyfriend who is like a kindred spirit, a soulmate of yours.
yeah.
Like, and you're gonna be like, I just want to figure out some things for my spirit, my heart, my mind. We're gonna do a little bit of tea like together, and just I would.
That's
be
what
like,
I envision it being at Burning Man.
No, because then it's literally like you're treating you want to enhance your experience.
I don't know if that's true.
You want to like party it up. Like,
I don't
have
know
you ever
that I-
done shrooms before?
when I was in high school, but I also drank on it and smoked weed, and so I don't.
Smoking
and
weed on it, I think, is
drove a
pretty.
I drove a car.
You
It's too-
dumb
and it
bitch.
felt like I was laying down. It felt like I was.
Sure.
driving
You
like
have to
this.
remember that it's a holy medicine. So you
Yeah.
want to treat it with respect. When you pray to it, when you talk to it, like you want to treat it with respect. You don't want to you're not going to like, if you're like Catholic or Christian, you're not going to run around with like the blood, like the body of Christ, like at a church and be like,
cracker.
are you fucking hungry? Let's get some crack.
Let's go on the same trip. Yeah.
Exactly. You're not going to munch down on
Yeah.
it. You know, like you have to
But then
treat
I
it
guess
with
does that,
the
like-
utmost respect.
But then, like, I know we're going over time, so sorry, listeners. No, I'm not sorry. You get like this is an extra bonus. But isn't that then like saying you're only able to do like a psychedelic like that if your intention is religious or spiritual?
It's not abusing it. It's not acting like an addict with it. Do you
I
know what
would
mean?
say, in general, you should say that you don't drink alcohol. If you're
Yeah.
gonna do,
Yes.
I wouldn't say you're sober. If you're going to Burning Man once a year and doing mushrooms, to me, that's not sobriety.
I like the idea of saying I don't drink alcohol. I don't think I have this like connection to the word sobriety. I don't know that I ever will. I don't like saying it right now. I don't like saying that I'm sober. You're laughing. Why are you laughing?
No, I don't know. That was my instinct.
It's not wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But like
yeah.
I don't like saying that I'm sober. And it
Sure.
has nothing to do with the fact that I feel like a square or like not cool anymore because I've been active socially maybe more in these last 30 days
Yeah.
than I ever have. So it's not the idea of like sober people are boring or fun. I just don't connect to that word for some reason. And I don't know if it's because I don't have enough time under my belt or like, you know, I think I'm going to drink again. Like I truly don't know. And I'm trying not to think of it for too long. But the
Sure.
idea of identifying as a sober person, I think maybe I do need to just say I don't drink. maybe that is what I
But you
need
also
to
haven't
do.
come to the conclusion yet whether or not you're an
An
addict.
addict.
So
I
then
just
you
don't-
kind of have to do step one.
This
you
is
know what I mean?
great
What's
though. You
step
have so
one?
much exploring in front of
Yeah,
you.
I
Yeah,
agree.
and it doesn't feel
might
like
get
hard
to-
work or
you
like
might get to
judgy.
crash your car still. You know what I mean? You might get to fall off a scaffolding at Burning Man
Which
high
hopefully
on
you
shrooms
don't. You
and
don't.
break your collarbone and go, yeah, maybe I have a fucking problem.
Yeah.
But I guess I won't know. Like for me, I liked Coke too much, and I knew that,
Same.
and I
I love
hard
Coke.
Oh, Coke. Oh, God.
God,
Miss you, babe.
guys.
Just kidding.
Don't do
Truly,
cocaine.
yeah.
But for me, I was able to see that and go, whoa,
Whoa, yeah.
and
Yeah.
stop. Same with cigarettes. I would go, ooh, I really like these. And I would able to cold turkey cigarettes, no problem.
Yeah.
Anytime I want.
Yeah.
I don't know what maybe I do need to fall off a scaffolding at Burning Man.
I would
But I
go,
think
I'm
you-
cancel clear. I didn't
No,
mean it like
What
that.
you
I'm just
said,
saying,
But, like, I
if
think
you
you might be
think that you might
right.
have a problem, like that is so powerful. Like if you think you
I
probably
don't know.
are.
I know with alcohol, I have a problem.
But people,
period.
But look, I have so many friends that are like, oh my god, after one drink, I'm done. Like they
Can't
know
relate.
that. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I think.
I think I still need to like know what my relationship is like to
Do you,
mushrooms.
do you ever get into a space where you talk to people who are like trying to figure out if they're an addict or not,
Oh,
and you just want to
yeah.
be like, bitch, you're a motherfucking addict.
yeah, like, yeah. Question
Do
number
you think
2.
I'm an
yeah.
addict? I know it doesn't matter.
I think it's like not PC or not correct to tell somebody that.
No,
But I'm
I would-
asking
and I
as a
would never-
friend.
I will say what I said again. If you're
So
wondering,
yeah, you think I'm an addict?
yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, alcohol, like yeah,
Alcohol. I
an
agree.
addict, yeah,
I
yeah.
would agree
Yeah.
with you that I
have
I
you ever
a problem.
taken the test?
What's the test?
The
Yeah, I
10
did that
question
too.
test?
No.
Oh, you
Yeah.
gotta take.
Should I do
the
it? What is
test.
it?
It used to be the test, like that hospitals I think would give people
Oh, I'm gonna do it
to
as
see
soon
if
as
they
we're done.
were problem drinkers.
Oh shit.
And
I'm not gonna
If
pass.
you say yes to one, you are.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or it's like if it's 1 you might be, it's like 2 you are, 3 you need to seek
Help.
treatment
Yeah.
Okay,
like
I'll do it.
immediately.
Yeah, I
Um,
tell some friends. I'm like, I have friends that I'm like, yes.
Oh, I like in my head. Like
Oh.
I'm constantly going like, you're a
I am
problem.
not like,
You're a
I'm
problem.
not Latina mother. I'm like, babes, I'm telling you from one addict to another, you are in great company.
Yeah.
You're an addict.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
I think that there's something the ego removal that both of you are so like hitting nail on the head too. That like
Well, my life has become so unfathomably great
Mm-hmm.
that I can't deny that it's been a huge.
and that's
Blessing.
kind of why in the very beginning I said like age to me does kind of matter in this conversation because I know like in the AA book there's like story of like 16-year-olds talking about how they got sober and da 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 da. But I feel like with age came wisdom for me. And like I don't know if 5 years, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, clearly I knew I always had a problem. But like I was so against like admitting that there was a problem because I was just in my 20s. I was just fucking having fun. Everyone went through this.
Yeah.
And like I think there is something with, depending on when you go through your relationship with alcohol that isn't normal, that's where you
Yeah.
are like confronted with, am I
Yeah.
Which could
This
happen though
person.
at 18,
Which
24,
can, right.
28,
Yeah.
41.
Right.
Yeah.
I see these people who are 45 with
Mm-hmm.
6 days sober
Yeah.
because they lost their kids in a custody. It's like, it's whenever you hear the mess, it's called gift of desperation where I go and it's like, or God, you start to see,
Yeah.
you see
Okay, I
things.
want to do a fan question because
Let's do a fan
this is going to be a
question.
6-hour podcast. Not that I'm mad at it, but I know listeners probably like, what the fuck is going on? Okay, there was one fan question. Well, there was a couple, but I only remember one. And I think her name was like Ashley Marie 6969 or something.
Oh, go
And
Ashley
she was
Marie.
like, am I allowed to be sad that I miss my friend's funness around them getting sober? So
Who's
she's
sober? She's sober. Her
She's
friend?
her
not.
friend
She
got
misses
sober
her friend
and she
being
was like,
fun.
am I allowed to feel sad that I missed this like
You're
like you
always
said
you're
camaraderie?
allowed to feel whatever you want to
guess
feel.
I guess I'm confused. Who's the sober one? The friend?
The friend is
or
the sober
person
one.
asking the question?
The person asking the question is not sober.
She misses her drunk gal
She misses
pal.
her drunk gal
okay,
pal. And she was
okay.
like, am I allowed to be sad that my friend got sober?
Absolutely.
Of course. Yeah.
Mourn that version of your friend, but
Exactly.
your friend is going through something and needs to go through this thing.
Yeah. And also, if you can't relate to them outside of that drinking,
Maybe
thing,
they're not friends.
Then maybe y'all are not
Yeah,
friends.
your
You know what I
your
mean?
your party girlfriend, I promise, is out there. Another
Yes,
version
I
of her.
agree. I
You know,
And I think this is also like a good learning opportunity for her too to examine that friendship and be like, why am I so fearful of losing a friend that can also get drunk and like be my wingman and like do Molly with me
Yeah.
and like dance? Like, what are you afraid of? And if it's losing a person that will be reckless, then like, can you still be a reckless sober person, or do you like stop being a dumbass when you get sober?
I mean, I still do dumb things.
Me too. I actually had echoes of my behaviors go into my sobriety, and that I didn't realize until I just aged more.
Sure.
But I was like, oh, that's
that
remnant
Yep.
of who that person was. Like, and I still had to like, I was still hurting people around me. I was still doing things that I didn't
like acting compulsively.
Yes, I didn't realize it. You don't become like this. Once you
No,
get sober,
God.
which is actually what I hate when sometimes people think, or they're like, you're sober, that you're suddenly like
You're
you're
holier than
holier than
thou.
thou,
Yeah.
or like they kind of put you on a pedestal, and I'm
And
like,
you're like,
I'm
no,
still very human.
I'm fucking up left
Yes.
and right, babe.
Yeah, uh-huh.
I'm just
Yeah.
not drunk while I'm doing
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
Yeah.
And you
I'm
kind
capable
of like,
of fucking up without the alcohol.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We're actually objectively worse than you guys now, because at least you have an excuse.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If we do dumb shit, we're just idiots.
It's just us.
Yeah.
We can't blame the
But I think
alcohol.
it'll always go back. That's so cute. I think it'll always go back to just find new friends. Like, wherever you are in your life. Like, my friends, I have friends that I'm like, do you guys want to go plant shopping? Like, fuck yeah.
Oh,
Do
yeah.
you want to go look at cute little toilet handles at Home Depot? Fuck yeah.
Did you lose
Like,
friends when you guys got sober?
yes.
It just all changed. Everything changed.
Ugh, I lost so many friends. Because I'm from the LA downtown queer scene.
Sure.
So, like, that's where my come up was.
So it wasn't like you lost friends. It was like you just didn't have things in common with people.
Yep.
Exactly. You're awake earlier.
Yeah.
And you go to bed earlier.
And you're in bed earlier.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I'm loving being sober, not drinking alcohol.
Well, you're sober right now.
I'm
so
sober right.
Ride that
yeah, I've been
ride
sober
the
for 30
train.
days.
Yeah,
Yeah.
read it.
Congrats. It's huge.
Dude, shut up.
I am so
I
serious.
know.
I would
I'm
argue,
fucking with
I would
both
say
of these
the
people because
first
they're my good friends.
6
I can.
months were my emotions were
All
all
over
over
the
the place. Rageful for no reason.
Yes.
Like anger would
Me
come, and I'd be like,
too.
Sex better sober.
Oh, I sucked at sex, but sober and drunk. So.
I will say, like, I had.
Sucked at sex.
Wait, did you want to do?
Well, I was just gonna say, like, I had sober sex probably 5 times.
I've
Me
never
too.
had
in
it
my life.
for
Me
the first
too.
time.
And then, so getting sober, it's like, oh, I'm fucking this person. Like,
Yes.
you're
You have to learn.
there.
Yeah, you
you're
have to learn it
present.
again. Yeah.
There's no numbing this. No.
Yeah.
How many times did you go on a date with a guy and you're like, oh, this guy's annoying, and then by drink 4, you're
You're
like,
like,
this guy's
I'm
my
having
boyfriend.
fun.
Like,
Yes.
I love him. We're
Yes.
different, but we're gonna make it work.
Yep.
Nowadays, like, I go on that date and I leave after the first
Were
hour.
you always
Oh,
this
same.
funny when you were drunk too?
Like,
Because
I
I feel
was-
like your whips. She's quick, isn't he?
You're so funny.
Am I?
You're very
Even-
quick.
Okay, well, I did fear that I would not be funny anymore because, coked
Same.
out and some shots of
Yes.
tequila. Oh,
You're
boom,
the
boom,
fucking
boom,
light
boom.
Yeah.
of the goddamn party.
But like now, like around drunk people, I am lightning fast.
and they're laugh at anything because they're drunk.
And I'm a comedian. As a stage performer,
Mm-hmm.
I can read a room so much better sober.
Yeah.
I can pick up on the energy of everybody.
Do you talk to drunk people? I can't.
I mean, I do until I want, and they go, I'm gonna go I'm done with this
Yeah.
conversation.
Well, because I'm like an empath, and I'm like I pick up all these
Sure,
energies,
sure,
and so
sure,
I'm like
sure.
I can't. I'm so sorry. Like I'm out.
Well, yeah.
Do you feel like when like getting sober? I feel like would you consider it a selfish act because you do need to focus on yourself?
That's the best part. I remember when I was first there, like my sponsor was like, in sobriety, you come first, you come second, and you come third. Like you have to be that person.
Because
Like,
I love me.
Oh,
and
More
it's-
time with
Dude,
me is
this
my dream.
Sobriety is the best
Yeah.
gift I've ever given myself.
Yeah, agree.
Mental, physical,
Yeah.
spiritual clarity.
It gets you out of everything too. Do you ever? I don't know. This is me. I'm like, I can't go to that party. Like I'm sober. It's a little tricky. So don't go. It's true. I'm not
Yeah.
lying. But
But
it's like I don't want to
also
go to the
don't wanna
party.
go,
But
yeah.
and then true. It is dangerous for me.
Being honest.
Sure.
And it's just like, look,
Being honest.
I'm just being
yeah.
honest with
Well,
myself.
yeah, the honesty thing is great because I won't even say like, oh, it's because I'm wearing a drink. I'm just like, that's not for me. But thanks for the invite.
You're really good at
I'll be uncomfortable for a
sandwiching
second.
compliments.
Oh yeah.
Zach can get
Thanks for the-
fucking. I can never imagine being
no.
mad at him because he's so good
you
at
have
Do I
this
sandwiching.
cute
do
little
it to
giggle that I love, by the way.
Wait.
No, not
Do
to
I?
me.
Okay.
I see you I like watching you.
Okay.
I've also
You have
itched my
pretty
cooch,
girl
like,
giggle,
10
like it's cute giggle. Like I have like ugly, like wide, like
No,
but like
you're
no,
the
but like
best,
you have
love.
cute. My cousin Xiomara has cute girl giggle, and I always used to look at my cousin and be like, Xiomara, why she's so cute?
No, I literally want to make both y'all's laugh a soundtrack on this.
No, but
Aw.
you have like sweet.
I'm like not gonna laugh.
You're
for the
so
rest
cute.
No.
You have like touch your forearm type giggle.
Oh, stop. Okay. Both of you, I love both of you
Yes.
Love you
so
too.
much.
I honor both of your journeys too. Like both of what you're doing is so incredible.
Same.
You're all on your own path. Like it is really hard to figure out what it.
Yes.
As long as you stay healthy, stay a good person, like be the best version of you
Yes.
and
Oh my
yourself, and keep
God.
moving. Like
Yes,
no
girly,
one
go
can
off.
take away from your journey, no matter where
Keep
you
going.
are. You know what I mean?
Speak on it.
Don't settle for a good life when you could have a great life.
Yes.
Damn. You look at me so hard when you say these things.
I think it's insane who you are. I bow down to you and your work. I'm serious. Take the compliment.
I can't.
You are-
It's part of my
you're-
personality.
Unbelievably talented
Ugh.
and funny
All
and
right.
beautiful.
We're done.
And
My crazy.
Guys, we just laughed
is it going?
we laughed the batteries out of
Yeah, we
the
did.
Zoom. We talked for so long I kept trying to end this podcast that the batteries literally just Okay, wait, let us wrap up so we can go have a kiki.
Why is your mic fucking like that?
What?
It's like up like a like a ice cream
'Cause
cone.
Because I sat up.
Okay.
Anyways, I want to plug both of your shit.
Yes.
Curly, tell people to watch Vita and you.
So you can find me at the Curly V Show online on Instagram.
VEE.
I'm also on BuzzFeed's Better Like, which is their Latino channel. And then I'm on. I was on, and hopefully we'll be back for Vida on Stars.
So cool.
And Zachary, where can people come find you? Because if you like me, you're gonna like Zach.
Yes.
And honestly, we have some secret stuff in the works
We
that we
do.
can't tell anyone about. And so you better get used to seeing his face.
Yeah, but it's ZACHNOETOWERS, Zach Noe Towers
And
at
if you're
Twitter,
ever-
Instagram.
In LA, you should go to some of your comedy shows because you
Yeah.
opened for
Yes.
actually Curly. Do you know who this woman is?
Oh, Sofia Nino de Rivera.
Maybe
She's a huge stand-up comedian in Mexico.
Sorry if
Oh,
that was
amazing.
assumptive because
You're my friend. I would never be.
I know,
like,
but like
yeah.
I just realized how that sounded.
But yeah, she's doing her
She
first.
speaks Spanish. You're gonna love her. That's like when I try and set up my gay friends. I'm like, you're gay,
Yeah,
great,
you're gay, yeah.
you're perfect.
I think it's less offensive because it's you and you're my friend. But
Yeah,
anybody
fair.
else, I would have
Yeah.
been like, if I had just met you, I'd be like, this girl,
yeah,
this
this
is.
Fucking white
bitch.
bitch. But go see your shows because you're very funny.
Yeah.
I love both of you. Thank you so much for being so vulnerable. You're
Thank
doing
you
the
for
Lord's
having
work.
us.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Thank
guys.
you for giving us both the space as well.
Oh my God! Any fucking time you guys want to come back. Now that we have a home studio,
Let's
we
talk
can
about
also
dick
just hang
next
out.
time.
Oh,
Oh my
absolutely.
god.
There's nothing I would like
we need
more.
3 hours.
Can we talk about like
Minimum.
gay sex for an episode?
Yeah.
Great.
We talked about gaping holes in this one. a little bit.
Barely, not enough
And
if you
swallowing.
ask me. Don't forget to rate this on iTunes. Rate it all the stars. If it's not 5, please don't rate it because I'm too sensitive. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at ConfidentlyPod. Don't forget to write in your email questions at ConfidentlyInsecurePodcast@gmail.com. And we're so close to 10,000 followers, so if you can like recommend a few friends, I can do another giveaway. I can show you my titties.
I'll
Zach
show you
will
my
show you his
titties.
gaping hole.
I'll
Curly
show
will show
you
you
anything you
his
want.
titties. Whatever you guys
I'll follow,
need.
so that's one closer.
Same.
You're not following?
I meant
What the fuckery? You're not following either.
No way he's following.
Wait,
Guys.
to be fair, I was going to because I saw that your last podcast looked really cool. So I was
It
like,
was really cool. And like, if you guys like more like this, where it's just friends chilling on the couch, let me know. But I definitely do like having doctors and scientists and stuff to talk about new subjects. So, thank you so much. I love you all. Bye.